The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. Kurt Cornish resigns as a parliamentary secretary in the office of the Prime Minister. The North Abaco MP expected to be charged today, but Cornish intends to hold on to his parliamentary seat. Cornish says the truth will set him free, and advocates preparing proposed changes to the Protection Against Violence bill. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. 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 Wake up, wake up.
Good morning again, Bahams. It is Wednesday, August 9th, 2023. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Chester Robards will be joining us with the Department of Inland Revenue about the occasional licenses for public entertainment. A lot of people talking about this. What you need to know, that's all coming up. And then later in business, we're a few days into the start of the crawfish season. We're getting an update on just how things are going so far from fishermen's perspectives and just the state of the fisheries industry right now. We'll get into that in business. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while you were sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, Prime Minister Philip Davis announcing that he has requested and accepted North Abaco MP Kurt Cornish as parliamentary secretary in the office of the Prime Minister, as the MP is said to be charged in court today. Davis saying the Director of Public Prosecutions decided to bring charges against Cornish, though he did not disclose the nature of those charges. But police yesterday said that a 48-year-old man from Abaco would be charged today in the magistrate's court regarding allegations of sexual assault and threats of death. Police said the allegations were made by a woman in April. In a statement, the Prime Minister said, quote, "I have requested and accepted the resignation of Mr. Kurt Cornish as Parliamentary Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister. His service to the government and people of the Bahamas is acknowledged with gratitude. I want to assure the people of North Abaco that efforts to build opportunities and relief in your communities are on the way and will face no interruptions." He went on to say, the Prime Minister, that an independent director of public prosecutions has determined that there is sufficient evidence to bring charges and that it's now up to the judicial system to resolve the outcome. Not be providing any additional comment except to say that his prayers are extended to all who are suffering because of the matter. Now, in a statement, Cornish said that his attorney advised that he will face the charges this morning. He said, quote, "The charges are based on allegations which are totally false. I am fully confident that the facts which emerge during the judicial process will prove my innocence. I look forward to ending this nightmare. The facts will show that this was a breakup that was manipulated and exploited for political reasons and nothing more. The truth will set me free." Well, back in April, Cornish was taken into custody by police for questioning and released that same day. Weeks later, police said they were still reviewing the case, and Commissioner of Police Clayton Fernandez said the acting director of public prosecutions directed investigators to some other lines of inquiry. Last month, Cornish came under fire after he told a group of churchgoers that he was the Prime Minister of Abaco. He later apologized for his comments. The first-time MP is not obligated to resign his seat in the House unless he is convicted of a crime and sentenced for a period exceeding 12 months. Cornish will become the second with an offense. Long Island MP Adrian Gibson, an FNM, is accused of receiving $1.1 million in kickbacks from contracts awarded by the Water and Sewage Corporation while he served as its executive chairman under the former administration. He has denied the allegations. Police making a $10 million cocaine bust at the Stella Maris Airport on Long Island. This was on Sunday. The bust was part of a joint op-bat operation with the Drug Enforcement Unit, the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency, and the U.S. Coast Guard and local police. Police say officers acting on intelligence searched a blue and white Piper Aztec aircraft at the airport shortly before midnight and found 480 kilos of cocaine. Two Bahamians, ages 61 and 49, were arrested in connection with the bust. Women's groups pushing for a comprehensive bill to address gender-based violence in the country say they are focusing on securing amendments to the Protection Against Violence bill just recently passed in the House and in the Senate. They are seeking amendments that will, quote, bring it in line with some of the fundamental elements of the gender-based violence bill, which they for. In a news statement, the groups saying that multiple women's groups in the country dedicated to advocating for the rights and safety of women and children support a comprehensive violence bill for our country. Quote, "But we want to be clear that we support one that effectively addresses gender-based violence in society." The group said that a productive meeting took place last week between their representatives and Social Services Minister Obi Wilshcombe, where concerns regarding the current bill were discussed. And a 24-year-old man denied bail after being accused of sexually assaulting a child and possessing sexually explicit images of the child. Police on patrol in the Palmdale area around 2 a.m. on Friday arrested Michael McPhee after they allegedly caught him having sex with a 15-year-old boy. After the arrest, the officers allegedly found pornographic images of the boy on his phone. McPhee was not required to enter a plea to charges of unlawful sex with a minor of the same sex and possession of child pornography when he appeared before Acting Chief Magistrate Roberto. Bail was denied and he returns to court on October 26th to receive a voluntary bill of indictment. Appearing in the same court, a man accused of attempted rape of an American tourist, 42-year-old Austin George of Pinewood Gardens, is accused of trying to rape a 20-year-old woman at Junkanoo Beach on August 2nd. He was not required to enter a plea to the charge and denied bail. He returns to court on October 26th. Overseas, the military junta that seized power in Niger 2 weeks ago has appointed new cabinet ministers and barred most international mediators from the country as it works to entrench itself in power. The junta's leaders named a new prime minister Monday in what analysts described as an attempt to show that they're serious about governing the West Africa country. They refused to admit mediation teams that were meant to arrive on Tuesday, sent by the United Nations, the African Union, and the West African Regional Bloc known as ECOWAS. The junta cited evident reasons of security in this atmosphere of menace. Those are their words, according to a letter seen by the ECOWAS has threatened to use military force if the junta didn't reinstate the elected president, Mohamed Bazoum, by Sunday, a deadline that the junta ignored and which passed without action from ECOWAS. And rains and winds are growing in southern South Korea today as a tropical storm drew closer to the Korean peninsula, where it was forecast to slam into major urban areas. Dozens of flights and ferry services were grounded as tens of thousands of fishing vessels evacuated to ports as government officials raised concern about potentially huge damage from flooding, landslides, and tidal waves triggered by the typhoon-strength winds. The storm, named Kanun, expected to arrive in South Korea's southern and eastern regions by this afternoon. The National Weather Agency says it expects to reach the southern resort of Jeju hours later and then make landfall near the mainland port of Tongyang Thursday morning. The agency says Kanun could have a punishing impact as it will slice through the center of the country over several hours, with the storm's eye brushing the capital city of Seoul, with winds blowing at about 56 to 97 miles per hour. The storm is expected to dump about 4 to 16 inches of rain in southern and central regions and as much as 24 inches in the country's mountainous eastern regions through Friday. It'll be weaker as it blows into North Korea early in the day. In sports, reaction still strong to the good news over the weekend. We heard that NBA veteran guard Eric E.J. Gordon, currently teammates with DeAndre Ayton and the Phoenix Suns, he's been released by USA Basketball and became eligible to play for the Bahamas at the upcoming FIBA Olympic pre-qualifying tournaments. That's the International Basketball Federation. The tournaments, which will be held August 12th through 20th for 40 teams from Africa, the Americas, Asia, and Europe. They'll all battle for spots for the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris. The Bahamas Basketball Federation finally got word that USA Basketball released Gordon on Monday, which FIBA approved. Gordon was allowed to change his country based on Article 22 of the FIBA internal regulations. USA Basketball had to release Gordon because he represented them at the 2010 FIBA World Cup. The team already featured other NBA players, forward center Ayton, Indiana Pacers guard Javano Buddy Hield, and the Charlotte Hornets' Kai Jones. The news comes just in time as the deadline for the 24-man roster for the tournaments was Monday. President of the BBF, Eugene Horton, said he is elated to have Gordon on the national team, a move the BBF was trying to accommodate from as early as 2006. Overseas, players who reach the knockout round of the Women's World Cup getting larger individual bonuses that can be life-changing for many of them. FIFA designated $30,000 for the 732 players among 32 teams in the tournament field. The payout rises to $60,000 for players on the 16 teams that advanced out of the group play. The money grows to $90,000 for players in the quarterfinals, and it's a significant payday for many of the players, particularly those that have had financial disputes with their federations over pay and support. One player, Hilda Magea, who's been nicknamed Breadwinner of South Africa, helped the Banyana advance out of group play in the knockout stage and double her bonus. She appropriately plans to use the money to care for her mother. Denisha Blackwood, part of Jamaica's squad eliminated by Colombia in the knockouts, described the minimum payouts as a good start for her team. Jamaica had financial difficulties and relied on crowdfunding to raise money for its travel to the tournament. That's sports. And that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Your first look at weather brought to you by Nescafe Coffee. We've got high pressure that will continue to support mostly stable conditions and gentle to fresh breezes. Meanwhile, the northern extent of an approaching tropical wave expected to slightly enhance rain chances across the southeast Bahamas today. Got a number of warnings. Boaters should be alert for a marginal threat of waterspout activity. Beachgoers in the southeast Bahamas should exercise caution due to the risk of rip currents along east coast beaches. And everybody's again being advised to remain hydrated and stay out of the sun for extended periods due to dangerously high heat indices, once again expected to soar well into the triple digits. For today, for the northwest and central Bahamas, look for mostly sunny and hot conditions today, with a slight chance of a few isolated showers, mainly offshore. Mostly fair and muggy, with a few stray showers, especially in the extreme northwest Bahamas tonight. Wind south east to south at 10 knots or less in the northwest Bahamas, easterly at 10 to 15 knots in the central Bahamas. Winds falling light and variable at times across both areas. Seas 3 feet or less in the northwestern feet for the central Bahamas. For the southeastern islands today, partly sunny, hot, and breezy, with a chance of a few isolated showers, possible thunderstorms. Variable cloudiness and warm conditions expected tonight, with a few lingering showers or possible thunderstorms. Small craft caution remains in effect. Small craft should be alert for gusty winds and higher seas in or near heavy showers or thunderstorms. Winds easterly at 15 to 20 knots, seas 4 to 7 feet. Again, we're expecting a punishingly hot day today. Highs getting up to around 95 Fahrenheit, 35 Celsius, but that heat index, it's going to be up there, 116 Fahrenheit, 47 Celsius. So it's a major heat advisory in effect for today. This is hard to believe, but overnight lows expected to get down to 86 Fahrenheit? 86. 30 Celsius for the overnight low. Right now, under partly cloudy skies. That's your first look at weather for this morning, brought to you by Nescafe Coffee. Elevate your coffee experience with Nescafe Gold.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
You're listening to Morning Blend. When we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on your home for fresh news and smart talk all day. Guardian Radio 96.9.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Tired of paying too many bills and loan payments each month?
Shrink your monthly debt payments down to one easy payment, a consolidation loan.
It also has a built-in savings that pays you 5% interest.
Inquire about our debt consolidation loans today.
Call 356-7764.
Shavara Roca Enius, Strachan Farms. I don't think I chose farming. I think farming chose me. Winning this award would definitely give us the funding that we need to start our farming season. Most persons who are in the agriculture field realize that at the start of the season, which is in the next couple of weeks, you do always need a bulk of cash. I think we have a great track record for the work that we've been doing in agriculture over the last 10 years. And so when I saw the opportunity for an award like this, I figured, you know what, I should just go ahead and enter.
The Agrarian Awards, September 16th.
At Wendy's, we are different. We don't just use beef. It's fresh, never frozen. Our burgers are square because we never cut corners. Served hot off the grill with fresh lettuce, onions, and American cheese. We believe in fast food done right. Always serving fresh, never frozen beef. Order a hot, juicy Dave single, double, or triple. Made with fresh, never frozen beef. Now only at Wendy's. Different inside and out.
Attention all beauty enthusiasts. Perfect Tone, your go-to destination for restorative skincare, is on the move. Famous for flawless results within 30 days, Perfect Tone is relocating to the shops of Southwest Carmichael Road. Now is the time to get the skin you've always dreamed of, removing dark spots, acne, and oily textured skin for good. For more information and updates, follow us on social media or visit our website at ptskincare.com.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the road and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's there. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969, BTC Flow Channel 612. And call in. We'll give you the numbers to call in just a bit. You can also tweet us, Facebook us, text us. I think I just said that, did I? 422-4796 on the BTC-powered text line. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Chester Robards.
Good morning.
Good morning, Chester Robards.
Good morning.
Great to have you with us.
Glad to be here.
Nice of you to make it.
Okay. Man.
All right. Coming up this morning, we got a lot to get to this morning. It's a busy day. Busy day. In our 8 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking with the Department of Inland Revenue. This caused some eyebrows to raise. Occupational licenses for public entertainment. You're going to have to pay a fee if you want to party. I'm simplifying it, I'm sure, but it certainly seems that way. We'll get them to explain what this is all about. And then later in business, say the crawfish season is open, and an update from what fishermen are saying about it, and how the industry is going. There's been a lot said about prices, about...
It's not exciting for people with cholesterol issues.
Oh, yeah? Oh, poor you.
Hey, I didn't say it.
Oh, it was okay, sure.
No, I'm kidding.
But we're talking about fishing in general and the industry in general. Coming up in business, so a lot to get to, but there is a whole heck of a lot happening in the news. And in the news, I mean, I think even people on Mars have heard about this by now, even though it's only been relatively a few hours. That too.
Oh.
That too. They're having to keep up. But what's happening here in our little Bahamas, and what's expected to happen this morning, and how that set off chain reaction of events yesterday. So if you're just waking up and you were out from noon yesterday, Kirk Cornish has resigned as parliamentary secretary in the office of the Prime Minister, but he has not resigned as a member of parliament for North Abaco. This is because the police intend to charge him this morning. And but he says that, of course, the truth will set him free. We've got all the statements from everybody, and we're going to get them to you now if you haven't heard it, and then we, as much as we can, which isn't too much, want to talk about what's going on here. All right, so it started yesterday because we just yesterday morning asked about it. Last week we heard the commissioner say that the police were going to make a decision on what to do in this matter, which everyone's been watching since, April? And
at the end of the day, is it their decision?
Yeah, pretty much, I guess. I mean, the director of public prosecutions made some recommendations.
Okay.
And
don't they just collect evidence and give it to them?
They did, and then they were told what to do, and
Right.
they did some more, and then they were told what to do, and then they did what they did.
Yeah.
It seems.
Okay.
Although sometimes it doesn't seem to work like that.
No.
But what do we know? What do we know? Everything's a mystery. Everything's a mystery in this place. Some days it works like this, and some days it doesn't.
It's true.
All right. So yesterday, the police sent out word. This is the statement. Police wish to advise that on Wednesday, the 9th of August, 2023, a 48-year-old male of Abaco will be arraigned, reference to sexual assault and threats of death. Preliminary reports indicate that around 7:30 p.m. on Friday, the 7th of April, 2023, a 35-year-old female of SC Boodle Highway reported to police that she was sexually assaulted and threatened by a male known to her. The arraignment will take place at 10 a.m. at the Magistrates Court, Nassau, Bahamas.
I've questions.
Mm-hmm.
So
you want to ask them after I read all the statements?
Oh yeah,
Or
go ahead. I'll read the statements.
Okay. All right. All right. So then the Prime Minister issued a statement. So the official statement. I've requested and accepted the resignation of Mr. Kirk Cornish as Parliamentary Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister. The government and people of the Bahamas is acknowledged with gratitude. I want to assure the people of North Abaco that efforts to build opportunities and relief in your communities are on the way and will face no interruptions. An independent director of public prosecutions has determined that there is sufficient evidence to bring charges. It is now up to our judicial system to resolve the outcome. So I will not be providing additional comment except to say that my prayers are extended to all who are suffering because of this matter.
Right.
All right. And then there's a statement from Kirk Cornish. One more. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. So Kirk Cornish.
This is important for my question.
Oh, Kirk Cornish, Member of Parliament, North Abaco constituency. My attorney has informed that I will face charges tomorrow morning, which is today. The charges are based on allegations which are totally false. To the people of North Abaco, I know this is a very unwelcome distraction. You deserve effective representation, and it is my responsibility to prove to you that I can, even as legal efforts to clear my name are underway. I am fully confident that the facts will emerge during the judicial process, will prove my innocence. I look forward to ending this nightmare. The facts will show that this was a breakup that was manipulated and exploited for political reasons, and nothing more. The truth will set me free.
That last bit was strange.
Yeah?
Anyway, so that came out very late yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Is he in custody? And is it normal for an arraignment for you to be in police custody? Like, on an arraignment, you don't just walk into court because they tell you to come, right? That's not normal.
If you are of certain... If you're in... I don't know.
I'm not saying he couldn't get
does,
a statement out because he got people, right?
Yeah.
But it was like... The police never said that he was in custody.
Right.
ever at any point appear in court.
There's a very good questions you're asking. This is not normally how it works, but I guess if they ask you to come down and you can just, you're not going to abscond. You're not going to do, right? And we know this.
But because he says in his note that his attorney informed him that he will face charges.
Right.
Normally, if you're in police custody, you then know
Right.
you're going to face charges.
Oh, you're asking some very good questions. Again, if you can say, hey, let me leave. I don't know. I don't want to speak. I don't know. You're asking very good questions. Again, I've seen this in movies, but it's not commonly heard of here.
I don't know of an arraignment that happens where the police just let you come to court on your own. I don't.
For most people, it doesn't happen.
Again, I don't know it. I don't know how it's supposed to work. Like you said, this might be a secret. I don't know.
I don't know if it's a secret, but I mean, I think for many people, the flight risk thing is huge.
Yeah.
And
right.
In this case, it wouldn't look good.
Right.
So you wouldn't do it.
But is it about a flight risk or is it about process?
I mean, we need to have an expert in to tell us, but you're asking good questions. But I think in this situation, there's 99%. There's so little chance that the person would not show up.
Right.
That it just maybe isn't necessary. Whereas, in some other cases, mama gonna hide you, Grammy gonna hide you somewhere, cousin.
But
I'm just saying.
But it's this is a criminal complaint, isn't it? And an arrestable offense. And so if somebody says, "Oh yeah, you have enough evidence, go pick this person up," that's normal, and then you arraign them. A criminal case, you don't be like, "Yeah, he'll show up." Just telling me you got to come to court. That doesn't seem normal.
I've seen it in the movies, but I
don't know.
And then you are
someone smarter than us who does law could tell us, or who's a former police officer or whatever works in the court.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. I think these are good questions. I don't know if it's really, really, really all that. It's good to know. It'd be good to know, right? But does it change anything here? Is it really that significant here? It's just curious how things work in the place.
So it would. So everybody, including you, were wondering what's taking the police so long. Why does this seem different? Is the difference continuing?
No. Yeah. Well. Yeah. I hear you. But again, this is such a weird time to throw out the word honorable, but honorable, gentle people do certain things, and you have faith and belief.
But it's not about that.
If you ask most people to come to the court because we'll charge you today, they ain't gonna show up. Plenty of people ain't gonna show up. They are not going to show up. Not all, but many, maybe most. Think about it. So, but here, it's not. There's going to be, likely a spectacle. Don't be downtown if you don't need to be. This is probably going to be a crazy day. So, I don't know. But anyway, so there you have it. Again, there's not much we can allow you all to say today. But let's keep it as generic as possible.
I wouldn't say anything,
right? Maybe.
What do you want to say?
What else?
I just have questions.
Nothing else to talk about now. We're just going to play music until our guests arrive. This is quite something. So the article today has some interesting information. People were wondering about that, right? So he did not resign as a member of the North Abaco MP.
Right.
And we've seen that before, that we've got a number of cases. MPs will, I'm not guilty. I'm sticking it out, and until you all find me guilty,
so
I'm not going anywhere. And
now we'll have two sitting in the house.
Two battling legal matters. Cornish will join Adrian Gibson, the Long Island MP, who is accused of receiving $1.1 million in kickbacks from contracts awarded by the Water and Sewage Corporation while he served as executive chairman. He, too, has denied the allegations. So that's one on the F&M side and one on the PLP side. Again, you're not obligated to resign the seat unless you are convicted of a crime and sentenced to a period exceeding 12 months, I think. What, does that mean that even if you are convicted,
That's
as long as your jail sentence is under 12 months, I'm back! And, that's it? Well, if the party will allow you to stay,
Right.
they might say, nope, you are a major distraction to him. So, I don't know. But will you go? Because I don't know how much say they have in that. But interesting how things work.
If you want to stay, you got to resign from the party. And
Right.
keep your seat.
Right. Exactly. Well, they might like that. If something, right? We'll see. Okay. So I'm afraid. We'll see how this goes. We'll see how people can behave, and this will show you exactly why people won't trust you to come to show up.
Well, then you
They'll tell
won't.
people, let's behave. Don't say anything stupid today, and you'll see by 7:15 we'll have to shut that down.
Well, then you won't read it. You just
No, I mean the
like,
calls.
this is-
The
oh,
calls.
the call.
Then you'll see exactly why they got to bring you to court as opposed to ask you to come.
Turn on that 60-second delay for the
We
calls.
need 2 minutes. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422. Did you like the Prime Minister's statement?
Did you like it?
Yeah, I mean, actually thought it was a pretty good statement. It could have gone many different ways. But the prayers for everybody suffering in this whole ordeal, I mean, that was a very nice touch there. Oh, boy, this is rough. And then Cornish's statement is interesting as well, right? The last part that you said that was surprising.
Very
But
interesting.
we have been hearing that for a while. Again, I guess you have to be careful again. Right.
Political operatives go really far, don't they? To destroy you.
Well, I don't mean that part. I mean, we all know that. But I meant the fact about a relationship gone bad.
Okay, relationship gone bad, fine. But it's attached to some political.
Yeah, I mean, he's saying that made it worse or made people jump on
Is that what it
seasons
said?
and opportunity. Basically,
It seems like that's the whole reason
Yeah.
this ordeal.
I think to me it sounds like some opportunist jumped on a situation
To what?
to make it worse.
Make
But
it
this
how?
sounds like we're getting okay. We gotta steer back. Okay,
crazy.
testifying almost. Okay, let's see how we do this, folks. Don't make me embarrassed. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hi.
Pleasant day to you both.
Good morning.
Same to you.
Yeah, I want to start off by saying when you introduced the item about everyone knowing about it, what happened yesterday, I was one of those, maybe living on another planet, so I didn't hear about it. But
Wow. Okay. Well, good for you. I'm glad that social media's tentacles aren't in everybody. But okay.
And as the conversation went on, your co-host mentioned that something was strange. As I was listening to find out exactly what was strange, I believe perhaps he developed it further, perhaps in asking in terms of the arraignment, how is it supposed to be done. I don't know if that was referring to when he said something was strange.
Yeah. In
Well, we
custody.
don't know
It
if
doesn't seem
I
like
don't know if
he's
he's in custody. Yeah.
Right.
So
I don't know.
and then a point was made regarding that we need a special legal authority or such to explain whether the procedure is such.
Yeah.
But I would want to submit that even not just a legal authority, we can have a regular Joe Blow on the street who have similar situations, how those matters are treated, whether they are invited as they could, or whether they are charged and incarcerated temporarily in the police station and then escorted from the police station to the court. And
No, we've heard of people being invited to come down to the police station,
Right.
but
So,
invited to come down to the court to get charged.
and the assumption about the flight risk that the ordinary Joe Blow is of a greater flight risk than a popular legislator, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I don't buy that.
Oh, yeah?
So it's part of what do you call
Which part don't you buy? The average Joe Blow is flight risk?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Because
And the legislature's not.
you see, when we are mingling and working among people who have had situations, well, I have to go to court today, I had to pay a fine, I had to this, and then, some people, perhaps a person who is accused of murder on the run or something like that, but I don't see people, and especially people who would like to have their name clear. You don't run. You run when you actually are afraid that you are guilty, that you know that you are guilty. But when you are not guilty, I don't see any need for running. Personally, I would.
So you think? I think some people really do think that odds are stacked against them and that they will not be treated fairly, and right, and that certain people might be connected, and that's going to cause them to have a problem. So you'd be surprised, especially if you're younger and not thinking clearly. You'd be surprised.
In a sense, I love the accused made. It seems very plausible. Not necessarily the political part of it, but the relationships matter. When relationships go down.
Let's not go too far into that part.
Well, I will not get there because I don't want you to call, to say that, we're tampering with
Right.
So I will stick to the Prime Minister's presentation and pray for all.
Yes,
concerned.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much,
Have a
everybody,
nice day.
and for the country, because we always have some issue that will cause us to need healing.
Yeah. So when Adrian was arraigned, was he in custody before he went to court? I don't remember.
Adrian Gibson?
Yeah.
I do not remember. I don't remember. Maybe this is a lawyer. Who knows? Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, sir. How are you this morning?
Doing well.
And your guest.
Good morning.
I heard you said this morning that Craig Cornish resigned.
As parliamentary secretary.
He didn't resign. He was fired by the Prime Minister. I have the official statement right
He
here.
was asked to resign, and he did.
Pardon me?
He was asked to resign.
No, that's not what the statement
Well, that's
was.
what the Prime Minister said, sir.
That's what the Prime Minister's statement says.
Following a comprehensive investigation by the police, Prime Minister Philip Davis.
What are you reading?
Pardon me?
What are you reading?
The official statement from the Prime Minister's
From who?
office.
The what?
The official statement
Start
by
from
the
the
Prime
top.
Minister
Start
the
from the
Prime
top.
Minister's office.
All right. So the Prime Minister wrote himself, I have requested and accepted the resignation of Mr. Kirk Cornish.
Well, that statement must be came afterwards because
This is from the Prime Minister.
Sent to be sent out.
Anyway,
okay?
what difference does it make? He's no
It
longer
makes a lot of
parliamentary
difference
secretary.
because you're saying he resigned.
I'm saying what the Prime
personally, he
Minister
was
said.
fired.
The Prime
He was
Minister
fired.
said that.
Pardon me?
The Prime Minister said he asked him to resign.
So
Now, some
you're
people
saying the
in
Prime Minister made three or four different statements then.
Let me
that's not the
let me
first
tell you
time. Not the first time.
the official statement that came out. We only saw one, and that came from the press secretary's office to the media. We only saw one. I don't know how many you got. We saw one.
Well, you all need to check your.
No, we don't.
no,
We don't. Come on now. And everyone knows if you ask to resign, you're damn fired. So stop. Just stop. You don't have to play stupid today. Come on. Good God. You see what happens?
Tranquilo, my friend.
Okay. Kumbaya. This is
All of that.
We're doing okay.
All
We're
of that.
doing okay. And then all of a sudden, we said, I don't understand. Goodness gracious. So what difference does it
People
make?
be getting
What
all
happened?
kind of
What is
statements
it?
from all kind of
You know,
places.
you're no longer the parliamentary secretary. You've been asked to go. Okay. It sounds a whole lot better to have been asked to resign than to say you got fired. Anyway, the Prime Minister asked him to resign, and he resigned. Okay. Let's try. Chamomile. Eh? So you have any?
Who?
Chamomile tea.
No,
You have-
maybe you got
think
some
I'm-
somewhere.
to bring me down.
Yeah.
All right. Here are the text messages. Might be better. I heard about the MP for Apico. What about Keith Bell? Okay. Okay.
What about him?
Yeah. He will be charged this morning and taken to the courts. Yes, thank you, Captain Obvious. Yes, we are aware. We are very aware of that. Thank you very much. He will be charged this morning and taken to the courts.
What?
Oh, that's what you're saying. So they're going to take him, ask him to come to the police first, and then take him to the courts.
Is
that how it
charged?
Works? Oh, okay. Is that how?
This morning?
So
he couldn't be charged last night? So that's the question.
Have a good night's sleep.
What is the process?
Come in.
Okay.
And then we'll take
at
you
your
over.
leisure. Just come
Sleep.
to the
Have a good night in your own bed.
Yeah.
I don't know. Thank you, Texter. Thank you. He was I guess we have to. It's sad that we need to know these things. He was most likely asked to show up an hour. Okay, so this is people who,
Okay. So people know.
This one says Shane Gibson was brought in wearing shackles, although he had a broken leg. Did he have a broken leg? I know he had an injury.
Injury. Yeah, I don't know if it broke.
The commissioner said that was the norm, and since then they have they've made some adjustments, I believe, haven't they?
Well, they don't parade you.
You sure they don't, or they just don't normally inform the media? And
no, you're not. No, it's not a public parade. No, they use like back doors now.
What plan do you live on? If you're asked to resign, you're fired. Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you're talking about us or him, because it's the same thing. There's no reason to harp on that part. But yeah, I mean, okay, sure. In most criminal charges at the magistrate court level, the police bring the charges against you first. Then you are to show up at the court on the day the police give you. Then the magistrate will set a new bail, or if they will set a new date. And then if you you can apply for bail in the Supreme Court. So
you don't need to be in police custody. You could just show up to court.
No. That's what everybody's telling you, that you go to the police first.
Go to the police first.
And then they'll take you over there.
Then they start the process. The ugly part.
Dwight, count to 10. That's a text, yeah. Maybe 20. The caller is trying to prove to you that the PM has... boy. I'm editing. Has the guts to fire people. It's all about the optics. Oh, okay. There's another text. Why hasn't the Prime Minister asked Keith Bell to resign? Seems like the Prime Minister is more... Oh, my gosh. The text line is just as bad. Just as bad as the calls. Look at that. Look at that madness.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Wow.
Call in and say that. Why don't you call in and say that instead of making me read this nonsense? I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to read it. I'm afraid to take this call. Watch this. This is
you can't read that.
No, I would never. I'm afraid. I'm upset I read that to myself in my head. Like, oh, good morning. You're on the air. Hi, caller. Good morning. It's probably for the best. What do you want to do now, Justin?
I don't know. Anything else to talk about?
Oh, boy. Oh, Lordy.
I'm just glad people helped us through the process of arraignment and police.
Good to know. Good to know. Yeah. What we do a show. What happens if you get arrested? What to know if you? Okay, that's very sad. But
do they have to take out their shoelaces and all that too? Is that part of the process still? Or that's only if you're going to be in police custody?
Yeah, I think so. I have no idea.
I have
no clue. Okay.
Yeah.
People are finding it amusing. But
they already raised your cholesterol.
Really,
so.
I don't know. I said, right. Dwight, you were spot on by 7:15. Right. Well, that was a little just after 7:15. We knew it. I mean, but that was it. That was unnecessary.
It was unnecessary.
That wasn't even related, right? It was an unnecessary
provocation.
And right. Oh, boy. Here we go. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight.
Hi,
good morning, Chester.
Morning.
You in Chester?
Yes, that's
morning,
right.
Morning.
Okay, listen, Roy, every rope has an end sometimes, eh? Everything must start, but how it's done, right? Like how he was not in custody.
Mm-hmm.
What happens is when the person told the police that they could go ahead and charge him, what the police would do, they would call his lawyer. He would before he goes to court, he would go to the I think it's the office of the DPP or whoever it is that can charge him. The police will charge him first in their office, and then they will walk him across the court
Right.
with his lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is basically how it's done. But see, Cornish needs to don't put up too much resistance and try to get himself out of the situation that he's in, if possible, because it was a second video on social media.
No. Let's not go there. Yeah. Okay. Well, he's going to fight the charges. That's what he says. So,
I mean,
we'll
it's
see.
up to his lawyer to do a good job at that. So.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Why do people want to go so much further than they should?
I don't know. This is a text. This is a lot of politicians before the courts. The FNM's got two, and the people. Is that the body count? They just need to charge their colleagues of other names. Okay, well, we'll see. And they're waiting for certain people who like to. I'm editing a lot. Who like to defend stuff to call in to defend this and spin this story. Well, it's going to be challenging today, right? So. Well, okay. I guess we've
so we figured out
hit the wall,
the process
here on what else to talk about on this matter. So we'll keep you posted, folks. 10 o'clock this morning, and I guess tomorrow will be another exciting day.
Yeah.
So elsewhere in the news. Continue to text us. I don't know if we'll take calls on this, but anyway. $10 million cocaine bust in Long Island.
Yeah, boy. What's going on in L.A.?
I tell you.
It wasn't off the plane, to be fair.
Wasn't it on the plane?
You're right. Did it just land? Like, was it
saying,
refueling? I don't know.
You don't know. It's coming on.
Right, yeah.
Right. Well.
En route somewhere?
Right, they just stopped to
But that's a big bust.
10
million.
Acting on intelligence. 10 million. So not just the sheep are white down there. It's
not even them.
What? That's big. Wow. What do you want to take the break now? Let's do that, and then or should we take that? Yeah, let's take the break. Then we'll come back, and if you send in more messages that we can read, we'll get to that. People say bring up all these other names. Well, they're not even in the House, but people politically
people they want to see.
No, they're talking about people who already have cases going on.
Oh,
but it's just politics is something else. Anyway, we'll be back, folks. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
It's always my fault and your short views, just like a time bomb. And I think you should take a second just to look at your reflection, baby. Maybe you're the problem. Okay, you see a path, you got it all backwards. You should take your little finger and just point it in the mirror, baby. Maybe you're the problem.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Whether you're looking for your first or new home, or even using your existing home as equity, RBC understands that your journey to home ownership is unique, and your mortgage financing should reflect that. That is why at RBC we have dedicated mortgage specialists that provide sound advice and helpful solutions to make your dream home a reality. Best of all, the RBC mortgage team is mobile, flexible, and will meet you almost anywhere. Visit rbc.com/take 60 seconds to connect with an RBC mortgage specialist.
7:32, time for the morning, brought to you by RBC. Get in gear with an RBC auto loan. In your real-time traffic, not looking bad out there again this morning. Another morning like this. Only about 2 more weeks we suspect of these smooth commutes for you in the morning. But right now, Miles Butler Highway, just north of Harold Pond, you'll see a long line in front of you heading to Tawny Williams Darling Highway. That's northbound. Elsewhere, not really much to talk about at all. So it's a good-looking morning for you right now. The challenge is the heat. We'll tell you about that coming up in weather. But this traffic report brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/gear up for an RBC auto loan. This weather check brought to you by Easy Car Sales. It's going to be a scorcher today, folks. Not going to be pleasant, but high pressure continues to support mostly stable conditions, gentle fresh breezes across the area. Meanwhile, the northern extent of an approaching tropical wave is expected to slightly enhance rain chances across the southeast Bahamas. But the big story will be the heat, and everybody's being advised to remain hydrated and refrain from extended periods outdoors due to the dangerously high heat indices that are once again expected to soar well into the triple digits, and it might be a record high overnight low tonight if this is correct. But we'll get to that in just a moment. Today, your forecast for the northwest and central Bahamas, mostly sunny and hot, with a slight chance of a few isolated showers, mainly offshore. Mostly fair and muggy with a few possible stray showers across the extreme northwest Bahamas tonight. For the southeast Bahamas, partly sunny, hot, and breezy with the chance of a few isolated showers or possible thunderstorms. Variable cloudiness and warm conditions with a few lingering showers or possible isolated thunderstorms tonight. Temperature-wise, we are looking at highs getting up to 95 Fahrenheit, 35 Celsius, but the heat index will make it feel like it's 116 Fahrenheit, 47 Celsius. This is incredible. And we have a heat advisory in effect. Now get this, the overnight low temperature expected to get down to only 86 degrees. There's that all the way up to, I don't know, anyway, 86 Fahrenheit. 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius for an overnight low tonight. That's not low at all. So this is very serious. In your extended outlook, high pressure will remain across the area while the previously mentioned tropical wave will combine with a mid to upper level low expected to increase rain chances across portions of the area Thursday into the weekend. So for tomorrow, Thursday, variable cloudiness and hot conditions with a few showers and possible thunderstorms mainly across the southeastern islands. For Friday, partly mostly cloudy with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. We'll have a look at the tropics coming up in our 8 o'clock weather check after the news, but this weather check brought to you by Easy Car Sales. Are you shopping for a new car? Before you decide, compare. Easy Car Sales invites you to try an electric vehicle. Experience the power, the smooth, quiet ride. Find out how you can dump the gas pump and save thousands of dollars a year in fuel and maintenance costs. And enter for your chance to win a tablet every week during the month of August. Drop into Easy Car Sales on Gladstone Road or visit easy242.com to find out more.
At Alive, we believe that every common loftier goal is within our reach. We believe in the essence of our identity, the richness of our history, and the boundless potential that lies within us. That's why our network is built by, owned by, and managed by us. Alive, believe in Bahamians. Visit bealive.com to take advantage of our Golden Independence deals. Alive, believe in best.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
The Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center is here to help small businesses throughout the entire Bahamas. To better serve you, we've made it easier to contact us. Call 461-7232, WhatsApp 359-0626 or 359-2394. Email helpdesk@spdcbahamas.com or submit a ticket when you visit our help center at accessaccelerator.org. The Access Accelerator, empowering small business.
Indulge in an experience that awakens your senses with Nescafe Gold. Premium Arabica coffee beans, carefully selected, roasted to perfection, and finely ground, resulting in a unique and unmatched flavor and aroma that captivates the senses. Enticing aroma, smooth taste. Elevate your coffee experience with Nescafe Gold.
There's a new electric vehicle in town. The Jack brand of SUVs, trucks, sedan vans, available only at Easy Car Sales, home of the fully electric vehicle. For a powerful, smooth ride at a fraction of the cost to drive, leave the pump behind and hit the road with Jack. Visit easy242.com to see our brand new Jack models and drop into Easy Car Sales for a test drive. It'll have you singing. Hit the road with Jack and don't you pump gas no more.
Grab your camera, capture the spirit of the Bahamas, and win cash and prizes. Scotiabank, in partnership with the Guardian Media Group, invites all youth, amateur, and professional photographers to enter the Celebrate Bahamas 50 photography competition, being held under the theme One Nation, One Legacy, Our Future. With more than $8,000 in cash to be won, snap those photos and send them in by August 30th. Visit GuardianTalkRadio.com or bs.scotiabank.com to find out how to enter. Let's celebrate our proud nation in photos. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, Bill. Glad to see you back in the office.
Who?
Bill.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think you're mistaking.
Tom.
Nope.
Jack.
No.
Alex.
No. Want me to just tell you?
Nope, I got this, George.
No, you don't. Still not me.
Adam.
Not even close, man.
We're like a coworker that didn't forget your name. CG Atlantic Agents and Brokers. Good like that.
Okay, good to see you, Mike Johnshawn.
It's Mordecai.
Doctors Hospital has reimagined primary care. We have invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. We understand that your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnoses and true personalized treatment begins. With locations across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshosp.com.
Total Auto Care on Howard Road offers fast, quality auto maintenance at the very best prices. Tune-ups, oil changes, brakes, suspension, wheel alignments, radiators, water pump replacements, and more. Need quality brand name tires for your vehicle? Tires that'll stand up to these roads? No worries. We supply Michelin, Goodrich, Bridgestone, Pirelli, and Toyo. We'll import them fast and install them for you at no extra cost. So when your car needs maintenance or quality tires, we're on Howard Road, just before Burger King. Come see us. Total Auto Care. Call us at 341-6599 or 341-2350.
We're gonna give you a check every week for a year. Percy's Pension Plan. Island Game, keep you winning. Percy's Pension Plan. Dream big, we will help you live it. Percy's Pension Plan. Island Game, we got you. Percy's Pension Plan. From the friends you can trust. If winning is a must, come play the game you know, cause your best chance is with us. The most trustworthy name is Percy's Island Game. So put 20 on your account and ride this easy train at Percy's Island Game.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
My business couldn't survive without my credit card machine from Fidelity. It's fast, convenient, and my clients love it. My sales increased, and I can track my earnings. Get your Fidelity today. Call 356-7764.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Ego always doing the most. Out of touch and not even close. Drama always follows you home, but I won't be waiting no more. Worked on myself, open my eyes. You hate my friends, turns out they were right. It takes two to make it all go right. But with you, it's always my fault and your short views.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards on this Wednesday morning. Coming up in our 8 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking with the Department of Inland Revenue. Did you see it? It started in July, apparently, but did you know that it was going to... Did you know about this? You're in business. Did you know about the occasional licenses for public entertainment?
I saw the notice.
Yeah, but you saw that
But I didn't know about it, no.
Right. It's effective July 2023. And what is it? $750?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For a lot of party planners, it's going to be interesting. But we're going to get the details about that, why, and what you need to know coming up. And then later in business, in our 9 o'clock hour, we're talking about crawfish, lobster, and the fishing industry in general this morning. All right, so that's coming up. We continue to talk about what's in the news. We've been talking about the situation with what's expected today with the North Abaco MP, expected to be charged this morning. And not much we can say without potentially prejudicing a case. So we're being very cautious and asking our callers to be guided by that.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
No, I do want to ask about the heat index.
Oh, my goodness.
116, you said?
Yes. I thought
116.
116. Yesterday was 111.
Oh, really?
Yeah, expected to be. So 116. That's one of the highest since we've been doing weather.
So what's the typical overnight low?
Like it's high if you are at 80, and we've been at 80 for many nights. 80, 81 is like
86
whoa.
is
86. I don't even
that's
think
high.
that might be an error. That can't. If my God, if the overnight low tonight is 86, we're in big trouble.
Yeah,
big trouble.
But
that is a warm spring day.
Yeah, but we were on the beach on Monday and the water was so warm.
Yeah, that's very scary.
I mean, the only place I've felt water like that was Adelaide at low tide. That's low tide, which is kind of in the summer expected. But like even in shoulder deep water, it was like a sauna.
Well, this is definitely like, 3 forecasts from the Department of Meteorology, all saying 86. So this is
that's a warm night.
I don't know. And if you don't have air conditioning and a fan, I don't know how you're going to make
Heaven's
it.
sake.
This is really not going to be good.
Yeah.
And then
it's so uncomfortable.
So you know what that means, right? Everyone's going to crank up the power.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you know who can handle that?
Oh, boy.
So brace yourselves.
Oh, boy.
Brace yourselves. No, we're going to speak positivity. It's going to be great.
Their
it's going
machines
to be
can't
fine.
handle it.
No, let's not do it. We've already put enough out there. They're going to be fine, everybody.
They're going to be fine. You're going to be fine.
If you're praying people, pray today. Pray today. 116 is the feel-like temperatures. That's terrible. Daytime.
Yeah.
And,
stay in the shade.
The shade? You would mean... You mean inside in an air-conditioned place?
No, because everybody can't be in air conditioning.
Outside in the shade is very hot. Very hot.
It's cooler than outside in the sun.
Well, it's cooler. The sun isn't on you, but it's not cooler.
Trust me, if you've been outside and you felt
Anything's
the difference
better than that.
between direct exposure and shaded areas.
Have you walked from a building to the car and seen how quickly you are, how drenched you are?
I walked a quarter mile on Monday.
Why would you do that?
Because I had to.
What?
Don't worry about it. I had to do it.
In the daytime?
Yes. In the heat of the day. And every little shaded area I could find, I was walking into that area.
All the cars were like gone? There's no way you could...
There was no way.
Well, you made it. You're here. Good for you. Okay. But yeah, so keep that in mind. One of those days. It's going to be hot. All right. So this is another story in the news. Advocates preparing proposed changes to Protection Against Violence bill. All right, Candy Ames writing about it. Women's groups pushing for a comprehensive bill to address gender-based violence say they are focusing on securing amendments to the Protection Against Violence bill recently passed in both houses of Parliament, like recently as in last week, and that we're there already. They are seeking amendments that will bring it in line with some of the fundamental elements of the gender-based violence bill. In a new statement, the group said, quote, multiple women's groups in the Bahamas dedicated to advocating for the rights and safety of women and children support a comprehensive violence bill for our country. But we want to be clear that we support one that effectively addresses gender-based violence in society. The groups say that a productive meeting took place last week between their representatives and Minister of Social Services, Obi Wilshcombe, where concerns regarding the current bill were discussed. The advocates say, quote, we emphasize the importance of critical missing that would render the bill accessible and supportive for all members of society. It is clear from the meeting that the government is committed to passing the Protection Against Violence bill instead of the gender-based violence bill. Okay, well, because they did? Of course it's clear, but I don't know. Anyway, sure. As such, the advocate said they are constrained to work within the parameters of the new Protection Against Violence bill and must focus efforts on amendments. Senators passed the bill last week and MPs passed it the week before. Attorney General Ryan Pinder explained during the debate in the Senate that the bill is a testament to the government's dedication to eradicating violence against women. Wilshcombe told the Nassau Guardian that the government is open to amending the bill. Now, Podesta Moore, president of Women United and a representative from the women's groups, said, quote, we appreciate the opportunity to engage in meaningful dialogue with the Minister of Social Services. Our intention is to ensure that the legislation is not only useful, but also embodies the spirit of gender-based violence, of the gender-based violence bill, which we had been working on for over 10 years now. The advocates say that the minister has scheduled a meeting at 9:30 on August 14th, 9:30 a.m. in an effort to refine the existing bill in line with their proposed amendments. So this couldn't have happened before it was passed in the House?
Nope.
Does this make sense?
Nope.
The women are saying that they will submit their concerns in writing before the meeting and that they remain optimistic about the prospect of meaningful changes and are hopeful that the minister's commitment to amend the bill will result in a more comprehensive and effective piece of legislation. This is really wacky. This is crazy. Okay. Anyway, you all like giving the people, the draftsmen and women, a lot of work to do unnecessarily. It just, boy, anyway. And then the people are going to be confused. This happens all the time, right?
How
There's
long
an
is
old
it gonna
bill that's
take now,
out there. Well, no, 10 years. An old bill's out there. People are going by the old bill, but there's a new bill with amendments, and people are like, well, which one is it? Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight, and good morning, Chester, Popia. Good morning, Bahamas.
Hi,
Dwight.
Hi.
Did you read earlier, say the Prime Minister, from the statement from the Prime Minister, say he expected and accepted the resignation from the member from North Abaco? You have the paper still there?
Accepted. He accepted.
He didn't say he expected a...
No.
Oh, I thought I say expected and accepted. I just wonder if he feel the same way about Keith Bell. I wonder if the officials still there, the director, if Ms. Ferguson them still there. Y'all do any updates, any follow-up to know if what they doing with her?
These are very good questions.
Yeah, and listen, I don't know how to ask you this again, but Chester was there last week. I mean, and something keep telling me, we could have a responsibility to report to us this high light bill what we going through, and BPL, this load shedding and stuff like that. Their service provider. Y'all have anything from Erica or Warren McCartney them yet? Can you invite them on? Or am I wrong? They don't have nothing to do with that? I thought they was like to be on our side.
It's a fuel surcharge. So they didn't hedge the fuel price, and so they are purchasing fuel at a higher price.
And I know the politicians, they made the last say, right? But governance is continuous, and we put Erica there not to be political. And I'm not saying they're political. I just expect them to say when any government or these decisions with these boards or these CEOs, them making stuff like that, if it costs to be human people, I thought that they're supposed to say something about it.
They're a regulator. I mean, if you want a consumer rights group, as we were told the last time we had the consumer protection on, that they are encouraging Bahamians to form those groups. Will anyone listen to you? I don't know, but we don't really
When
have
if they want us to
anybody.
go solo or boycott BC, I wonder if we could do that if we could come together and do that. What the suggestion is from America, when you get a chance.
No. You're not
I guess they
understanding.
and so on.
No, they
Y'all
won't.
keep up the good work, Chester.
All right, everybody get it? They're not going to. That's not what they're there for. If you need that, you need to form that group yourself. So we need to come together as Bahamians to form that consumer rights group, championing for consumers to not be taken advantage of. That's not what those groups are for, the existing ones. They are to regulate the companies so they don't violate technical standards
Whatever's
and
in
other
the-
laws that are in place. But no, don't hold your breath. Don't hold your breath at all. Now, if you feel you've been wronged, that's it, right?
If they broke something in your
Right.
house or something.
You can go to them for that.
Yeah.
But they also need to do a better job of letting people know what they are there for. Because people are thinking they're there for something else. They're not, unfortunately. So, hey. But yeah. 86 degrees tonight and and that's where we are at. Yeah, okay.
God help us all.
They're not passing any bill with the word gender in it. That's a text. This one says, wait till they pass the marijuana bill. LOL. Confusion will be the order of the day. You think so?
Why do we have to call it a bill? Can't we find a more gender neutral name?
You need to stop.
Kidding.
You need to stop. People are going to hear that and really think you're serious.
I'm joking. I really am joking.
Surprised nobody ever said that before. What should they call it? Sam?
Yeah, that's
Sam?
That's a little better.
What was it? What was it on Saturday Night Live? Pat?
Pat is gender neutral?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Sorry.
Oh boy, put forward this Pat. No, you can't say that. Not in this type of parliament. Oh boy. Sam, probably Sam. Oh man.
Sophisticated.
So, woo. What? Okay, we've lost it today, folks. We just hamstrung.
Drugs in Long Island.
Back to that.
Reminds me of that.
Well, we could talk about Alabama.
It was Billy. It wasn't a Billy Joel song, right?
Did you? Are you been following the Alabama thing? This is
I
getting
have
crazier.
been. The videos are funny that people are putting out.
The videos that people were making about when you throw up your hat, and how it's the bat signal,
the black signal,
Right,
not the bat signal, the black signal.
But yesterday,
People shopping for folding chairs.
Right, that's a big thing
As
now.
protection.
So that was funny yesterday because we were talking about it on the show yesterday, and Ed Fields was on talking about the summer concert series at Nassau Cruiseport, and he said, "Bring your chairs." And Duquesne and I just
of course
very burst out. I don't think he knew why we were laughing. But that was funny as. Oh boy!
You know, it'll
folding chairs are gonna sell out.
In that particular instance, it'll forever be this person who is swimming toward the fight.
Right.
Clearly jumped off a boat.
As we said yesterday, what are you going to do when you swim across there? You're going to be exhausted.
You can climb up on the dock.
That's right. You're just breathing. Oh, boy. Okay, give me a minute. I'm going to show you all something.
There's so much adrenaline, maybe. Yeah.
But yesterday was very disturbing. So according to the chief of police, this is not surprising, what they thought they walked in on, right? The police, like, of course, you know what they did and who they arrested.
Of course.
And then they said when they finally saw the videos, they're like, oh boy. I'm paraphrasing a lot here. But now we need to. And so they've now arrested some other people and want to see some people. They want to see the guy with the chair, they say. They have his name. They want to talk to him. So who knows? But they said they don't have enough evidence.
Did you see the video? The police pushed this lady down.
It was a lot going on.
It was a lot going on.
A lot going on. But they don't have enough evidence to call it a hate crime.
Of course not.
Now, it's hard to say. I think it's on the surface, it looks, and the people who are trying to make it seem, and And I'm sure race definitely
I feel
has a
like
role
it's
to play
hard
in
to
it.
prove.
It's going to be hard to prove. It definitely is. But what a terrible situation. Chaos and
a
madness.
boat full of black people just pulled up, man. That was.
But the entitlement, right? And this is more a rich versus non-rich thing than black versus white. Yeah. The entitlement is to think that you could park your boat here and no one can tell you what to do.
And the official of the dock telling you what to do, and you still don't want to listen.
And you decide to attack that person.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. People are going to say, well, was he attacked because there was more of them than him, and he was black?
Yeah.
Right? Would that have happened had it been someone else? So.
Well, I'm sure there was an alcohol-fueled
row
before that.
Definitely looked like that. Definitely looked like that. But not the way to react. And the people making the funny videos, they are amusing. But you have to wonder, young people see this stuff and think, well, if I'm in a situation to deal with it like this.
I don't know if you saw that they're suggesting that one of the people involved in the fight owns a store, and they've had encounters with him at his store, and he's racist and all this stuff.
Oh yeah,
so they say.
Well, hey, we're gonna be back after the news. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
It's not me, it's you. It's not me, it's you. It's not me, it's you. But with you, it's always my fault and your short fuse. Just like a time bomb, and I think you should take a second just to look at your reflection, baby. Maybe you're the problem. Okay, you see a pattern, your point of view. Got it all backwards. You should take a little finger and just point it in the mirror, baby. Maybe you're the problem.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 4796. Standard text rate supply. And now at 8:19, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. It's going to be a hot day, folks. Got a heat advisory in effect. We'll tell you about that in a moment, but high pressure will continue to support mostly stable conditions and gentle to fresh winds across the area. Meanwhile, the northern extent of an approaching tropical wave expected to slightly enhance rain chances across the southeast Bahamas today. A number of warnings in addition to that heat advisory. We've got boaters being advised to be alert as there is a marginal risk for waterspout activity. Beachgoers in the southeast Bahamas should exercise caution due to the risk of rip currents along east coast beaches. And then the public being advised to remain hydrated and stay out of the sun. Refrain from extended periods outdoors due to the dangerously high heat indices, once again expected to soar well into the triple digits. For today, for the northwest and central Bahamas, mostly sunny and hot with a slight chance of a few isolated showers, mainly offshore, mostly warm and muggy with a few possibles, mainly across the extreme northwest Bahamas tonight. For the southeast Bahamas, partly sunny, hot and breezy with a chance of a few isolated showers or possible thunderstorms, variable cloudiness and warm conditions with a few lingering showers and possible thunderstorms tonight. Temperatures getting up to around 95 Fahrenheit, 35 Celsius for highs today, but the heat index will make it feel like it's 116 Fahrenheit, 47 Celsius. Now, currently in Nassau, we're at about 86, 87 degrees under fair skies, but tonight's low expected to be about 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. So if you're outside right now, you feel how warm that is, expect that to be your low temperature tonight. Not going to get much lower than this, apparently. So that is very, very frightening. Keep that in mind today. So, in your extended outlook, high pressure will remain across the area, while the previously mentioned tropical wave, combined with a mid to upper level low, will increase rain chances across portions of the area from Thursday into the weekend. So for tomorrow, Thursday, variable cloudiness and hot conditions expected. Thunderstorms mainly across the southeast Bahamas. Friday, partly mostly cloudy with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. In the tropics, the tropics are quiet. Tropical cyclone formation not expected during the next 7 days. That's your morning blend weather check brought to you by Bahamas First. Visit firstonlineinsurance.com and select a Bahamas First agent to purchase, pay, or renew your car or home insurance 100% online, or just stop by any Bahamas First agent. Bahamas First, celebrating 40 years as the first Bahamian general insurance company. What's first for you comes first for us. And time for another look at traffic brought to you by RBC. Get in gear with an RBC auto loan. In your real-time traffic this morning, Milo Butler Highway getting busy for you now, just north of Fire Trail, straight up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway. You can see that heavy traffic for you in the northbound lanes. Gladstone Road looking better for you. Just as you approach Munnings Road, you'll see that traffic in front of you, and congested from there straight up to JFK Drive, northbound. Building traffic on Carmichael westbound to Coral Harbor Road at this hour. And just pockets along, Robinson Road between Soldier and Old Trail as you approach that intersection with Old Trail. And on again to the intersection with Marathon and East-West Highway. Looking a bit congested for you there. Elsewhere, not much to talk about at this hour. That's what we're looking at. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/gear up for an RBC auto loan.
First or new home, or even using your existing home as equity, RBC understands that your journey to home ownership is unique and your mortgage financing should reflect that. That is why at RBC we have dedicated mortgage specialists that provide sound advice and helpful solutions to make your dream home a reality. Best of all, the RBC mortgage team is mobile, flexible, and will meet you almost anywhere. Visit rbc.com/take 60 seconds to connect with an RBC mortgage specialist.
Shop early to get your uniforms and catch Janae's Uniform Center's buy 4 get 1 free sale. Free monogrammed and regular school shirts, dry fit and cotton polos, jumpers, skirts, boys long and short pants, PE shorts, underclothes, tights, socks, neckties, belts, sleeping mats, hair accessories, and character work desk. Get 50% off backpacks, lunch bags, and raincoats. Buy 4 school shirts, get 1 free. Buy 2 skirts, jumpers, or pants, get the third 50% off. Need embroidery and monogramming done? Visit Janae's Uniform Center early. Beat the back to school rush. Janae's Chesapeake Road back to school special. Restrictions apply.
When faced with an illness like cancer, we band together, and we at Cleveland Clinic in Florida have your back. From advanced cancer treatments to extra safety measures at all of our locations, we're with you on this journey for every infusion and follow-up, for every step of the way, for every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic in Florida. Get the care you need when and where you need it. To learn more or connect with a local representative, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
It's been 35 years since Custom Computers was founded, and we'd like to celebrate that milestone by thanking you, our clients and customers. You've inspired 35 years of expert service and support, partnering with the world's leading brands like HP, Apple, and Microsoft. We take pride in setting the bar for what you expect and deserve from a homegrown Bahamian business. We're here to serve you when you need us, so call 396-1101. Custom Computers, raising the standard since 1987.
Attention all beauty enthusiasts. Perfect Tone, your go-to destination for restorative skincare, is on the move. Famous for flawless results within 30 days, Perfect Tone is relocating to the shops of Southwest Carmichael Road. Now is the time to get the skin you've always dreamed of, removing dark spots, acne, and oily textured skin for good. For more information and updates, follow us on social media or visit our website at ptskincare.com.
Okay, school bag, books, pencils, uniform. Oh, Lord. And I gotta buy snacks, too?
Just lay it on the line.
The Guardian Media Group and AML Foods want to help families in need with our first ever Back to School Snackathon. What's a snackathon? Well, we want to help by assisting in donating school snacks to children that may need them as they head back to school this year. To be a part of our snackathon, all you have to do is shop at your favorite Solomon Superstore or Fresh Market. At the store, you can donate your pre-existing loyalty points, or you can donate cash directly at the register. Every single penny will be snacks that will be donated for distribution by the Bahamas Feeding Network and Hands for Hunger. Together, we can ensure that every child that opens their backpack this year will have a snack and a smile.
Get involved, get involved. Get involved, get involved.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM.
Is this a party or what? This the big bad, sir. Take it out. Oh, yeah. Let's do it, y'all. Tonight the mood is right. Gal, them look so nice. Keep on playing this sweet down music. Say the people can't refuse it. Outside in the open air, holding my baby oh so near, with one hand in her hand. And always we having a party in the backyard. Oh yeah, party all night long. We gonna break and scrape until the morning come. We're gonna party till the break of dawn. Yes, man.
We're back with Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards, and it may cost you some money to have that party in the backyard. Not quite. Backyard. I don't know. Well, to explain it to us, we're very pleased to have back with us Controller at the Department of Inland Revenue, Shonda Strachan. Good morning. Always a pleasure. Welcome back to the show.
Good morning, Dwight. Always good to be with you.
All right, so what we're talking about here is the occasional licenses for public entertainment. And that effective July 1st, that went to $750. All right, so explain this to us. And then I'm sure we're going to have a whole lot of questions. This is entirely new, is that right?
No, it's not.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So it's not a new requirement, right? Since the implementation back in 2015, there was a requirement put in place for all persons involved in public entertainment to register and to have an occasional license, right? And so persons involved in public entertainment would or should have applied for the correct approvals, really filled out what we call a Form 41 on the VAT side, so that their event could be properly monitored and assessed. Right? So it's not new. Those persons would have also had to have gotten an occasional license back then. What is new is the fee, and the fee for certain types of public entertainment.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so there was no fee before.
Yeah.
Oh, there
was a general occasional license fee of $25 right across the board. So that fee is still in place, but it has been increased. Public entertainment relative to dancing, singing, music, and that type of entertainment where tickets are sold. So you're talking about events, right? You're talking about those events where promoters sell tickets, bring in or even use local entertainers. There's normally some sort of liquor promotion. You're talking about these big events that generate a whole lot of income, right? You're not talking about your cookouts or your small events, charitable events, or community, religious, or civic organizations that have the little fairs. You're not talking about those types of events.
So for the little
You're talking
fairs,
about
you would need the $25 license. So
right.
you
That's
wouldn't
still
need
the
that.
standard $25, right?
Mhm.
So all occasional licensees really pay $25. So that's if you're carrying on, let's say, a business to sell stuff. So that's your people maybe on R and Bailey Park that have their little booths where they sell things. Okay, those licenses are given up to 4 times a year for up to 7 days out of the week. So you may decide, hey, Christmas coming, I want to go and sell some toys. I'm going to a public place. You get an occasional license and you pay $25 for that. Or you may have your church may be having a cookout, or you may be having something to raise funds for some reason, but it's just a cookout, or you're just selling food. So that's an occasional license, and that remains $25.
Okay.
But if you are having, we call it a major event where you are selling tickets, you have an artist featured, or it's an event where you're just having dancing and drinks, and you're selling tickets, so you stand to generate a profit, a pretty large or substantial turnover or profit. Then the cost of that occasional license is $750.
And what was that before?
It was all occasional licenses
All
were
were
$25.
Okay, so this is a significant jump. But
it's a jump, but it's not a jump across the board for all occasional license holders. And you have to think about it another way. You got to think about the income that is earned, and kind of see it as being relative to the income that promoters are going to be generating from these types of events.
So this is necessary even if you are an entertainment company, and the event is happening on private property. Is still the same.
So if you have an annual license already,
right?
Because you do have promoters that have annual licenses already. No, this is not for them.
Oh, okay.
These are for people that are not regularly in this line of business.
Gotcha.
It means that they don't have a business license for this type of activity. They're not registered for that. They don't normally file on a regular basis. So that's a bit different. Okay. So if you are already in the business, but if you're entering the business just for a one-off, right, or something you do, as it says, occasionally, right? It's not maybe your normal line of business, but it's something you get into occasionally to earn extra income or to put on some type of show. Then yes, you will have to apply for and pay the occasional license fee.
All right. We've got a lot of questions, and people are sending in questions. So this is not some attempt to crack down on dancing and singing. We're not like that town in Footloose where you're not allowed to sing and dance, right? No.
No, it's not an attempt to do that. It's because we know that these events are very profitable. We've done our studies, and we know that the income that is generated from them is quite sizable. And we know that, it's these persons who have been engaged in these really haven't been necessarily paying a fair share when compared to other persons who do businesses that generate similar profits or similar turnovers.
All right, so homecomings and regattas. We got somebody asking about that.
No, those remain the same $25. So your homecomings, your regattas, your cookouts, your car washes, those the regular occasional license fee of $25 is still in place for those.
All right, so what's the difference? I mean, is it because of the tickets, or I mean, they do have artists coming, they do have people performing at night, especially. Why would that not fall into this?
Yeah. So again, you don't have a promoter who is generating a large turnover from, let's say, ticket sales or alcohol sales, where it's all going to one promoter. So it's a different type of activity from, let's say, a regatta or homecoming, where you have persons various setting up booths, right? That's different because you at a regatta or homecoming, yes, there may be entertainment, live entertainment, but again, all of the profits aren't going one place, right? But if you have a promoter who's coming in and they're in a public place and you have to pay a considerable amount for a ticket to go to watch that performer or to go and participate in the dancing and the drinking and all of that, then yeah, the $750 is the fee for the occasional license.
Now you use the word public. What does that actually mean? So if I have a spacious backyard and I want to put up a stage and sell tickets and have people come there, is that
for your big birthday bash or something?
Yeah, do I have to pay?
Well, it's defined as a public place or public premises, right? And then maybe if we look at it another way. So if you are having something in a place, what you're having cannot be considered disorderly if you don't have the right approvals for it, then fine, right? But if you, as you use your example, in your backyard, in a neighborhood, set up a stage and have an artist singing, unless that music is pretty low-keyed and you're not disturbing or being a nuisance to your neighbors,
right.
then, and you can get away with it without the police coming to you and asking you if you have the correct licenses, then okay, go ahead.
I see.
But if you're having something that is considered, you're inviting the public, meaning anybody can come once they pay for the ticket, and it is in a place that is considered a public place or premises, then you have to pay the $750.
Wow. What has the response been like so far? We're already into August, so it's been about more than a month now.
Right. I think the thing was to clarify, right? A lot of, or I should say the general public was concerned that it include like the regular cookouts or the stakeouts and the regattas and the homecomings. And once we made it clear that no, those are not included, and the events that we're talking about don't happen every day. I normally see them during special times of the year, right? Especially if you have like Christmas time or you're having certain types of events, then that's when you see these types of occasional license applications coming in. But it's not the every Saturday, every day event, not those types of events.
Yep.
I mean, it must. You said you guys did your research, and so it must be it must be enough to even just justify going through the. I don't know. It's not. I guess it's not a hassle because you have to do it anyway. But what do you think you kind of gain out of it at the end of the day? Period. How much do you?
Well, you gain, I think, two things in particular. Again, it's kind of equalizing the fees or the taxes that are paid relative to your income or relative to the turnover that's generated. That's one thing, right? You kind of level the playing field. And the second thing it does, it allows us to properly regulate these types of events, right? And get the information that we need to make sure that we put in place what is required to make them safe, and to ensure that persons who come to these events, they get what they pay for, right? There have been events promoted and come to fruition and all that kind of stuff. So it does a number of things, including, like I say, regulating them and also ensuring that the correct revenue is paid into the government.
Sorry, but in your studies, I what I meant to ask is what do you maybe look to earn from this increase at the end of the day per year?
Well, the amount won't be sizable. I don't see it as a sizable amount.
Okay, so
especially depending on the. I mean, you could do the math. It's simple math, so it's nothing. It ain't nothing that we're gonna go put a great dent in the purse.
Right.
So, but it is meant to ensure that you level the playing field, as I said.
Now, what if
revenue is there?
Right.
what if your event flops? What if you actually, I don't know, it just, you didn't sell enough
You
tickets?
got to pay that up front, buddy.
Do you get your money back?
Yeah.
It was rained
So
out.
you're going to
There was a
make sure that
storm.
your event does not flop.
Mm.
So again, you're going to pay this $750, and you're going to ensure that the people you sold those tickets to, they expect, they get the good time that you promised, and you're going to ensure after you pay that $750 that this event does not flop.
What if Mother Nature has different plans and you're rained out and
then-
the big artists are gone and they have to leave too? What
So you
happens
mean
there?
the event didn't happen?
It didn't happen, right?
Well, then we're reasonable people. So that's something you justify, and we treat that on a case-by-case basis. If the event didn't happen, then you can come into us, explain that, and we will be inclined to refund you if the justification is valid.
Okay, all right. What has
no issues.
Yep, all right. What has the compliance rate been like up to this point? I mean, well, not since the $750 was put in place, but just even with the $25 before July. Did people do this? Did churches really know they needed to have an occasional license? Yeah.
By and large, yes, people do comply. We know now they comply late, but they do comply. So you have people like they know they have an event coming this weekend. And so this day or Thursday, you'll see an influx, and then you start getting calls from the event organizers that, hey, we have this event on Saturday, and we have all our vendors trying to get occasional licenses. Could you speed those up for us? So those types of calls are common, but I'm pleased to say at least they're calling, right? And at least persons are doing what they are required to do when they do have occasional events and functions. And we have a compliance team also that goes out to ensure that persons are doing what they're supposed to be doing.
So when they have like food vendors and stuff at these events, they have to get occasional licenses as well.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
Well, all right. So, getting some really interesting questions. So, do you all, or is that the police? Do you all reject an event that doesn't come before you, or does it?
No, by the time, so some other persons would also be involved, some other regulators. So we're not the ones that make that, like, for example, if you're bringing in a foreign artist, are you able to get the immigration requirements that you need to ensure that person can come into the Bahamas? That's not us, right? By the time you come to us, you would have had your approvals from the other agencies that ensure that the location is fine, to ensure that you have, like I said, what you need for security reasons and all of that type of stuff. So you would have had to have gone to wherever you need to go, whether it's the police, whether it's immigration, whether it's physical planning, to ensure that the other aspects of the event are in place. We're only concerned with the tax.
Okay. Now, this is an interesting text here. Somebody says, to me, this sounds like you're targeting young people. Young people are just trying to make it.
Targeting young people?
Well, what do you say to that? Young.
Why would we? No, it's not targeting anyone, right? It's not targeting anyone. It's just encouraging. And again, these promoters, they are making enough and more than enough to be able to facilitate the payment of the fee. So we did do our research. It's not targeting anyone because there's no one specific gender or age group that normally apply for these types of licenses, right? So it's not intended to target any specific group.
Is this one available online?
What is that?
To apply and pay?
Everything for us is online.
Okay.
All of our applications are online.
Yeah. Right. This text you're saying the department is assuming every promotion makes a big profit. I've done promotions sometimes, and sometimes you can lose your shirt. So after the $750, you're left with $50. What do you?
So I'm sure what will happen is people will be more inclined to disclose their financials and what they spent. They will be more upfront with us at the end of the day.
Well, I think they're being a bit unfair to you because when they pay for the venue and the DJ and all them people, they don't go back and say, hey, we didn't make any money. Can we have our money back?
No, they don't.
They don't. They can't.
No.
All right, let's take this call. Good morning, caller on the air.
Hey, morning, Dwight. I think that's Mr. Strachan and there with you. Sorry, tuned in late.
Yes, we're talking with Shunda Strachan, controller.
And good morning to Mr. Strachan and your co-host as well.
Yes.
Question, does the Aaron Bailey vendors, mostly older persons who sell out there, are they now being expected to pay the $750?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not vendors who are involved in what I call regular sales businesses or selling businesses. It is, again, for occasional licenses that are or have to do with music and dance and singing and entertainment where tickets are sold, right? And you're selling tickets for an event for someone to come and listen to a performer, listen to an entertainer, and you may be selling other things like drinks, and the ticket prices are normally a considerable amount, right? It's not for the persons on Aaron Bailey Park or persons who have cookouts or stakeouts or churches that have religious activities, fairs, and that type of thing. It's not for those persons. They continue to pay the regular occasional license fee of $25.
You should include political party rallies.
Yes,
I'm just
political, civic groups. So those are in it as well.
I'm just pay $750.
They do have big entertainers at the event. So hey,
if they are selling the tickets and having
that part,
an entertainer come in to do music and entertain people, then then they fall into that as well.
All right, so people are tuning in and they're missing it. So let's go through that again. Who will have to pay the $750? And I guess I know you don't want to call any names, but give us an example that can illustrate as closely as possible what we're talking about here.
Okay, so if you're a promoter, you don't have an annual license. This is something you are doing maybe during Christmas time. I normally hear about these types of concerts, and you have, let's say you have, who's your favorite entertainer, Dwight? I don't even know if he's still alive. Let's say you have Luther Vandross coming.
That would be you have to pay a lot of money to get that.
Myself, right?
Oh dear.
So you have you bringing in an entertainer, or even you're using a local entertainer, because we have some really good entertainers here. And you have an entertainer and you're selling tickets. Let's say you're selling, your tickets are $100 for persons to come into this event, right? To enter the gate. And you may be having the event on one of the parks or Fort Charlotte, right? You're having an event, you're selling tickets, you have an entertainer, there's going to be music, dancing. You may have some sort of liquor or beverage that you may be promoting, right? Those types of events that we're talking about, you pay the $750.
Okay.
But if you have a regular occasional event where you are selling maybe on Aaron Bailey Park, or where you have a cookout to raise funds for someone, or a church fair, or a civic organization, maybe the Rotary Club, Kiwanis Club, some sort of fair, there's no ticket to get in, or even if it's $1 at the gate, not those types of events, right? Those continue to pay the occasional license fee of $25.
And if you have an annual business license, say you have your party event, promoted, but every month you have an event.
Promoter. You're not a normal, meaning that's your line of business.
Right.
You're an event planner, a promoter, and you have an annual business license. No, this is not for you.
Okay.
You have an annual business license.
So even though each month I have a big party at the end of the month and people pay to come to that event, because I have an annual, this will not apply to me.
Right, because remember again, it's an occasional license fee, and the occasional business license can only be granted 4 times a year. So if you're having events more than 4 times a year, then you're not going to fall in this category because you will have an annual license.
Oh, so you can only get 4 occasional licenses per year as an individual?
You can only get, right. So you can only get 4 occasional licenses a year, and it for a maximum time of 7 days per time. And so if you are having events more than 4 times a year, then no, you're going to have an annual license. You're not going to have an occasional license.
And if you notice that, you'll guide folks accordingly, right? This is
yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what is you have to have? You said people pay late. So can you come in after the fact? Is that going to be a problem? How does that work exactly?
Well, you have to have the license in order to have the event, right? And really, you should come into us 1 week before you begin to promote the event. You really should come in and register. But like I say, coming in late. But late does not mean after the event. Because if you're having the event and you do have compliance officers, police officers that come out to ensure that you're properly licensed to have the event, you need to be able to show that you have that occasional license.
Yeah.
So you have to do it before the event.
You can't start driving the car and then go try to get the driver's
No,
license.
you can't do that. Before.
Definitely shouldn't. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, I'm trying to, I am an artist, and I truly cannot get my head around what's being said. It is so totally unclear. If you are taxing musicians that earn money, we don't pay that on salary and income. These musicians may work once a year, and they may make enough to live for the rest of the year. So there are elements that it is so unclear. It's mixed in with who doesn't pay and who needs to pay, and at the end of the day, it's impossible to know what your tax is being applied and why it's so high. And if these are people organizing every year and they're not being taxed, but there's a one-off and it's being taxed, what's the reason? Have you consulted with the musicians union on this? Have you asked artists? I don't understand this, and I truly don't get it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's get Shunda Strawn to respond to that. But
you got a lot
it
of
wouldn't be
things.
artists,
Yeah,
though, right?
I wasn't clear with what she was saying totally. She's saying that I guess it's confusing. I don't know which aspect of it is, so I will say it again. If you are a promoter that promote events occasionally, and those events come with a cost, a ticket cost, right? You're charging a ticket cost, and it is in the form of a music or dancing, singing, entertainment type of event, a concert. And you have an entertainer that you are bringing in or that you are hiring locally, and you're selling tickets for an event. It's not something that you do normally, but it's something that you do once, twice, 3 times, up to 4 times a year. Then you apply for an occasional license. It's called a public entertainment occasional license. And the cost for that occasional license is $750.
So it has nothing to do with artists.
So what if you
it has nothing to do with persons who paint or who know. Those
Well, I think she means
persons who have
music
those
artists.
will
Music
continue
artists.
to pay. Right, they'll continue to pay the $25.
This isn't a tax on musicians and musical artists.
No,
This is not that.
no, because it may be like I say, we also see a lot of it by the liquor promoters, right? You're promoting a particular drink, a new drink that's coming out, and you have an event to promote that drink in the form of a concert, but you're charging people to come in, and you're going to be maybe selling the drinks, but then there's music and dancing. So there may not be an entertainment, but there may be music and dancing and that type of thing. Those events also will pay the occasional license fee of $750.
All right. So again, we were a little unclear with what the caller was saying, but if you are an artist, a musician, and you are launching an album and you have a concert, this is going to apply to you, or will it?
Well, if you are having an event where you are selling tickets, so if you have an event where you're launching an album, You're not selling tickets because you are hoping that people maybe come in and buy your album. That's different, right?
Okay.
That's the regular $25.
But if you are selling tickets, and there will be alcohol.
Right. So, like John is putting, like concerts, soca fests, I don't know these things, powder parties, bear fests. He's giving some types of examples. Those where you charge a cover charge, those are all the events that we're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Well. All right. So this is similar to what we asked you earlier. How do you know how much these concert promoters are actually making? A lot of these concerts actually do flop. We may see a crowd.
So they are supposed to, again, there is a Form 41 and a Form 42. So the form before, you let us know about the event, what you expect, the expectations of the event. And then after the event, you're also supposed to declare what was made, right, what your expenses were. And so we're really using information that we have have gotten in the past, and that has basically told us, or basically given us an idea that what we're doing is not off course at all.
Oh, that's interesting. You're required to do it, or you?
Yes, you are required to do it.
And again, what is compliance on that?
Having a public entertainment event, and this is nothing new, right? This came about from the implementation of that back in 2015.
And compliance is people are complying with this.
People are complying with it, yes.
All right, so the text goes on to say, it's like you are trying to survive as an entrepreneur and someone is right there putting a chokehold on you. Do you have to think tank whose sole job it is to come up with ways to squeeze more money out of us? Oh, boy. Okay.
No, not at all. But again, in order for the country to run and to sustain the expenses of the country, the roads, the schools, all the other things, we have to generate income. And again, we do look at areas where we see there is income being generated, and those areas are not paying the same fee, the same revenue as similar areas like them, right? So we do our research.
Okay. I know we don't have you for much longer. How can people get more information if they are still confused about this? Where can they get that, and who can they talk to?
Well, of course, we do have our website, and John put our contact details in the chat so they could give them after. But you can contact us at inlandrevenue.finance.gov.bs. That's our website. All of this information is there. You can call us at 225-7280. Or you can send us emails, and we'll be happy to answer. We're also on Facebook and Instagram. You can send us messages, and we answer those pretty quickly on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay. All right. Shanda Strachan, thank you so much. Always a pleasure talking with you, and appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay. Have a great day.
You too. You too. All right. We're going to take a break and get to news. And when we get back, we'll be talking about the fishing industry in the country and how things are looking with crawfish season and more. That's when we get back on this busy Wednesday morning. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Tonight the mood is right. Y'all them look so nice. Keep on playing music. Say the people can't refuse it. Outside in the open air, holding my baby oh so near, with one hand in her hand and one arm around the waist.
Summer your way with Scotiabank. Apply for a Scotia Plan loan this summer and open the doors to your dream destination, the perfect home renovation, or prep for back to school, and so much more. Enjoy competitive rates, flexible loan terms, and no payments for up to 2 months. Use your plan loan to unlock your perfect summer break. Apply for your Scotia Plan loan today and have summer your way with Scotiabank. Visit bs.scotiabank.com or call 242-356-1697 for further details.
Total Auto Care on Howard Road offers fast, quality auto maintenance at the very best prices. Tune-ups, oil changes, brakes, suspension, wheel alignments, radiators, water pump replacements, and more. Need quality brand name tires for your vehicle? Tires that'll stand up to these roads? No worries. We supply Michelin, BF Goodrich, Bridgestone, Pirelli, and Toyo. We'll import them fast and install them for you at no extra cost. So when you maintenance or quality tires, we're on Howard Road, just before Burger King. Come see us. Total Auto Care. Call us at 341-6599 or 341-2350.
We're gonna give you a check every week for a year. Percy's Pension Plan. Island Game, keep you winning. Percy's Pension Plan. Dream big, we will help you live it. Percy's Pension Plan. Island Game, we got you. Percy's Pension Plan. From the friends you can trust. If winning is a must, come play the game you know, cause your best chance is with us. The most trustworthy name is Percy's Island Game. So put 20 on your account and ride this easy train at Percy's Island Game.
Wake up, it's a new day.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas. Is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
You've tried everything. ASUS with your mother's cousin's sister's auntie, and even hiding your money under your mattress. But is your money safe? Your Bahamian dollar deposit in a member bank or credit union is insured up to $50,000. If anything happens, your deposit up to the insured value will be returned to you thanks to Deposit Insurance. Visit Deposit Insurance Corporation at www.dic.bs.
Protection for your money guaranteed with DIC.
Grab your camera, capture the spirit of the Bahamas, and rises. Scotiabank, in partnership with the Guardian Media Group, invites all youth, amateur, and professional photographers to enter the Celebrate Bahamas 50 photography competition, being held under the theme One Nation, One Legacy, Our Future. With more than $8,000 in cash to be won, snap those photos and send them in by August 30th. Visit GuardianTalkRadio.com or bs.scotiabank.com to find out how to enter. Let's celebrate our proud nation in photos. Terms and conditions apply.
My mommy made sure that I was vaccinated because she loves me.
Getting our precious little ones vaccinated protects them from so many diseases like polio, measles, and whooping cough. Vaccines are safe and effective. Immunizations can prevent illnesses and even death. Vaccines are essential for new and returning students. As you begin back-to-school preparations, ensure that your children's vaccinations are up to date. All vaccines are available in public health clinics. This message is brought to you by PAHO WHO, the Ministry of Health and Wellness, and USAID.
There's a new electric vehicle in town, the Jack brand of SUVs, trucks, sedans, and commercial vans, available only at Easy Car Sales, home of the fully electric vehicle. For a powerful, smooth ride at a fraction of the cost to drive, leave the pump behind and hit the road with Jack. Visit easy242.com to see our brand new Jack models and drop into Easy Car Sales for a test drive. It'll have you singing. Hit the road with Jack, and don't you pump gas no more.
Are you interested in the Bahamian economy? How about tips to improve your financial literacy? Tune into Guardian Radio's newest financial podcast series, C-File Talks. The podcast will provide listeners with their weekly dose of economic issues and solutions and the keys to financial freedom. C-File Talks will be hosted by an array of finance experts here to give honest and beneficial advice. You won't want to miss the C-File Talks podcast series, Monday evenings from 6:30 to 7 p.m. here on Guardian Radio 6.9 FM.
Hi Bahamas, it's Dr. Dinothra Archer Cartwright from the Doctor's Inn on Guardian Radio 96.9. Join me every Tuesday evening at 6:30 p.m. for all things health, wellness, and things that pertain to the Bahamian society. Tune in at 6:30 p.m. Guardian 96.9, the Doctor's Inn with me, Dr. Dinothra Archer Cartwright.
Hi, this is Maddie Boom, your host of Blank Canvas, the home of visual art and culture in the Bahamas. Tune in to 96.9 Guardian Talk Radio on Wednesday at 6:30 p.m.
There comes a time when the game tolerates no spectators, only players. There comes a time when we must recognize that our individual aspirations shape our collective destiny. There comes a time when getting in the game, despite the risks, despite the challenges, regardless of the cost, is simply the right thing to do. There comes a time when we must find our hearts, find our soul, and pursue our purpose for the greater good of all, for country, for humanity. There comes a time when we must manifest our true greatness. Yes, there comes a time, and that time is now. So let's get down to the essentials. The essentials. Serious radio for serious people committed to advancing the national conversation.
The Essentials with Hubert Edwards, Thursday nights live at 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Guardian Radio 96.9.
106.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Wednesday, August 9th, 2023. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Chester Robards. And this morning we are talking about the fishing industry. Crawfish season is here and getting an update on how things are going and some of the challenges facing the sector. Joining us this morning, very pleased to have back with us from the Bahamas Commercial Fishers Alliance, we have Adrian Larota. Good morning, sir. Great to have you with us.
Good morning. Good morning. Good to be here.
It's been a while. Hope all is going well. Crawfish season, lots of fanfare, of course, as always. But how are things looking so far? We've heard lots of is it mixed reviews on prices and catch so far? What's really happening out there?
Well, fishermen, as usual, fishermen got off to the same start and going out to sea. But unfortunately, we have a lot of them are not going to go out because the cost of selling your product now is at an all-time low. So for a lot of folks, it's probably not worth their time to go out and fish because there are indications that we're going to be getting about $7 a pound for lobster,
as opposed to what was it?
As opposed to last year, starting around $15, $17.
Oh wow!
Later, mid to late season last year, they were getting as much as $25 a pound.
Wow.
So you can see there's a big difference now.
What's accounting for this change? What is causing this?
There are a number of things, and in speaking with a number of the major wholesalers here, there seems to be an oversupply of product. And as you know, since we're coming out of COVID, and I keep bringing this up, but there's some economic things that we need to, as fishermen, we need to begin to look at. Mm-hmm. Coming up, a restock and supply. An overstock and supply. Mm-hmm. A lot of the markets that we service, which is primarily the European market and the American, not so much America, but the American market anyway, they had an overabundance of product because nobody, lobster is a luxury item, but nobody was dining out.
Right.
And so the foreign buyers had to hold on this product, and they just wasn't selling as normally would in the normal economic situations, right? Mm. So now we come out of COVID now, we're a couple of years out of COVID, but there still is an abundance of product. Mm-hmm. And two, we have competition now from other countries because, we're not the only country in the world who supplies spiny lobster or rock lobster. Mm-hmm. So we have competition from other countries. So those things are factor into the cost of the product for us to our wholesalers.
Wow. Now, is it likely the price could go up as you mentioned mid-season or later in the season?
Yes, I'm looking at the economics of it all. We're expecting that the price will increase because as people begin to dine out more, and with greater consumption, that will definitely deplete current supplies, and then too if economics be the way they are, there's an up and down turn. I mean, when I say the price now is at an all-time low. It's an all-time low for recent times, because there used to be periods when fishermen got less than that for lobster, but that was many years ago.
Yeah.
So and as the world, I'm going to say, as the world basically readjusts, we go through the cyclical period. The price will begin to climb again, because lobster is the main product for us in our exports.
Right.
But let me just say this too. The low cost of seafood is not only affecting the Bahamas, it's affecting the Caribbean, basically, okay? You have countries like Guyana, they can't sell their product, and they're begging people to basically buy their product.
Why? What is the issue?
Again, because oversupply. There's an oversupply. Because, going back to COVID, that dreaded term, while people were not consuming the product, or the product wasn't readily accessible to a lot of people to be able to consume the product, fishermen were still harvesting. So your harvest rates were still up. So here it is, you're just putting product on top of product on top of product, and that's what it is. And you just have to be able to deplete the supply.
You're saying this year some fishermen may just not even go out. What kind of numbers you talking about, percentage-wise? Maybe, I don't know, how many guys saying, "Nah, we're not doing it"?
It's not be the small operators. The small operators who basically operate, from trip to trip. They're the guys who are saying it because and for a lot of them, in order to be able to, firstly, they have to be able to have the equipment, ready to fish. They got to have the funds to be able to support a trip, and all that kind of thing. And unfortunately, coming off of the close season, coming off of the summer break, a lot of the small operators do not have that kind of capital to be able to startup capital to be able to go out and fish. Okay, and even if and for those small operators too who are tied to a wholesaler, the wholesalers will tell them, look, this is what you're going to get, for your product. So the small operator will say, well, you know what, I'm not going to go out. It isn't worth my time to be able to go out for that because I'm already operating at a loss.
Right.
You see. So that's where we are. So in terms of percentage, I'm going to say it's not as high. It probably less than 20%. Because the large operators, the large fleets, they're going to go out anyway because that's their business.
Right.
Come hell or high water, they treat their business like a business.
Yeah.
So, a 4-month period of not working doesn't affect them because they treat their business like a business. It's like everything else. So they've gone out and they're going to be producing. They may be getting, or most likely will be getting, the same price for the product as everybody else. But the fact is, they should be able to meet their expenses and actually still make a small profit, a very small profit. But again, that's their business.
What do you think will be the medium and then long-term effect on the crawfish sector as a result of this?
Well, over the long term, I don't see a negative effect because, again, if once we are able to keep poaching under control, which has we have been able to do that to a great extent, keep poaching under control, and the less fishing pressure you have on the resource, then in years to come, then you can only see a better crop or an increase in the product that you're harvesting. So that'll be good. I don't see a negative effect on it.
I know you said that some countries have been having trouble getting rid of their supply. Is there room to find new markets? Are people going out to look, like, actively say, okay, these guys maybe in Middle America don't have crawfish. You want some? Is that?
Yeah, and for the good thing for us is our wholesalers here have always been doing that. They've always been trying to explore new markets, but you have to understand too that we are coming from this. The product that we have is not unique to this territory.
Right.
Okay. You're talking about Middle America. We'll just use Middle America for example. it's easier for them to get Maine lobster than it is for them to get, which is a much cheaper product than it is for them to get the spiny lobster.
Oh.
All right, because the value added on spiny lobster coming from these kinds of territories where you're talking about Mexico, you're talking about Belize, even Africa, you're talking about these countries that are supplying the spiny lobster. The value added to get that products even as far as Canada. Okay, it is for just using a number, for example, if a lobster is exported from the Bahamas at $10 per lobster, by the time you get that to the market or to get that to the consumer and say somewhere like Toronto, that's going to be all right. Whereas they can just get a Maine lobster for $8. So you understand that's it. Again, it's economies of scale. But yes, we're always trying to explore new markets, and there are demands now for the live lobster, primarily for Europe and all that. But again, that's very expensive, and I don't see that being something that's going to be the fallback on for us in terms of the frozen tails, because the live lobster, there's a whole process you have to go through to be able to export live lobster. You don't just catch a lobster, put it in the coolant and ship it. It doesn't work that way.
Wow.
So.
We're getting some interesting text messages. People saying, okay, so we're not seeing these prices that you're talking about reflected in the restaurants. What's happening there? Can you explain that?
I have no explanation for that. I can't tell you. Lobster is still it's still a luxury item, and of course, it's the add-on. Now, I can only say what we are selling. What we've been told that our product is going to be purchased for. I really can't tell you what it's going to cost in a restaurant.
Wow.
But if you go to the fish market, you will most likely pay the wholesale rate. But if you want to go, if you want to go and sit in a restaurant, you're not really paying for the lobster. You're paying for the service.
Wow. All right. So we'll get back to the lobster season in a bit, but let's talk about just fishing in general, the challenges you're seeing in the industry. Conch is a big story. People saying the conch prices seem to be out of control. What are you seeing on your side?
Yeah, conch. We always have this conversation around conch, and then we talk about people proposing a closed season here in the Bahamas. Me and my guys, we are opposed to the notion of having a closed season. Here is because a complete study on the conch stocks in the Bahamas has not been done, and so to make a decision based on what's happening in New Providence, when you have 30 other islands that are not affected by any shortage of any type, you can't say that you have surveyed the country. And that's the issue that we find with conch. And something I always bring up with people, a lot of the scientific folks who I tend to talk to, they tend to dismiss it, but it's the reality. Hurricane Dorian actually had a positive effect on our conch stocks, even our lobster stocks. Okay, I'm going to tell you this because we're now seeing more conchs, larger conchs, from the northern Bahamas than we've seen in 30 years. All right, now that's a phenomenon that we can attach a lot of things to it as to why what happened, but there must have been, the Hurricane Dorian probably turned up the water so much that conchs that would not normally come into the shallow waters, they're now finding their way into shallow waters. Same thing we're saying with lobsters. It was uncommon 5 years ago, or let's say 10 years ago, to see basically a 15 to 18 pound lobster. Now that's a normal occurrence. We're saying larger lobsters. It was uncommon to actually, it was an anomaly basically to see a 1 pound conch 10 years ago. Now we're seeing that very regularly. Okay? Now here it is though, because fishermen are preparing for the start of the lobster season in conch production during, in the weeks or in as much as a month leading up to the opening of the lobster season.
Right.
Because fishermen are preparing for the lobster season. Okay? Conch is something that most fishermen would do during the off season for lobster. All right? And you will see an increase in prices again coming close to Christmas time because, that's when you have bad weather and there are not a lot of people going out for conch or doing any undersea fishing anyway. So you would, again, at that point, see increase in prices because it's a supply and demand issue.
Right.
Okay? It's not reflected as, in my estimation, not reflected as a shortage. All right? Because again, if you look at it, and what has helped too is that we have stopped conch exports now out of the country. So we now have that resource now supplying strictly the domestic market.
Right.
And what impact has that had?
It's been positive. It's been positive.
Oh, okay.
And the reason And to go a little further too, it helps in the management of the fisheries, because as long as there were exports to conch, it required a license to be exported, and there was a lot of illegal trade in conch. People coming over and saying, "Oh, I bought it from a licensed fish house," and then they would take it. But now that there is no export, a person expatriating conch now cannot say that I bought it from a fish house or I have a license to export it, because there is no trade. And to help with that, NOAA, which is the U.S. Customs and Border Control, they actually they've been good about that kind of enforcement, and stopping the boats that are coming from the Bahamas who may have conch on board and all that sort of thing.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's helped.
Are you having discussions with environmentalists or conservationists about conch? And because as you say, there is the push for a closed season.
Yeah, it's an ongoing conversation, and you always have it, and we can we understand why they would say what they say, but you have some parts of the Bahamas that's still basically untouched. Believe it or not, there are parts of the Bahamas that are fisheries resources. Okay, so when you're gonna do something as drastic as restricting a fishery, you have to take the whole country into consideration, and you can't do it by saying, okay, we'll do it for this region and not the next region. It doesn't work that way. So it has to be a real conversation. Yeah. But unfortunately, a lot of people are not prepared to have the conversation, because it's easier to block something than to try and put a management regime in place. Yeah. Okay, so it's easier to just stop it. And that's the problem that I have in terms of dealing with a lot of people, a lot of organizations, because their push is, look. I'm personally, there are some people, members of our organization, they support it, but my personal view, and I know I shouldn't give my personal view, and I'm speaking on behalf of the organization, but I'm going to say my personal view is that, there's an effort to increase the number of marine protected areas in the Bahamas. I am personally not in favor of that, because I prefer marine managed areas. And I say this because what you have is, when an area becomes a marine protected area, that now becomes off limits to fishermen, okay, or off limit. It becomes off limits to those people who may have been making a living from this particular area, whether subsistence or for commercial use or whatever. Right. Then they become open to tourist development, okay, and we all know. It's a known fact that coastal development does more to harm our marine environment than anything else. Okay, not overfishing, not fishing pressure, not overutilization of a particular stock, but coastal development. Okay, and that's a known fact. So we continue to have these conversations, but again, it's always work in progress. And there are always conversations to be had, very lively, and always discussions that need to take place. And I must, give hats off to the DMR and our partners. When I say our partners, whether they are opposing or against or for, but there is always the willingness to have a discussion, even if they don't, take what you say. The fact is, they still are prepared to talk to you and prepared to listen.
Wow. I want to ask. At one point in our life in our country, there was this big thing about lionfish, and I feel like we don't hear about it anymore. Has the problem subsided so much that we don't have to worry about it anymore, or is lionfish still a thing? And then also, it was touted as this next new fish that we would eat, and I don't know, it's kind of not really around as much as I think it should be.
Lionfish is still around and still an issue. Yeah. Fortunately, it has become such a targeted species that I'm going to say we're probably close to eradicating. Well, to controlling it in the Bahamas. I don't think we will not be able to eradicate it. Right. But we're close to controlling it. Why? It's because it's become a favorite fish now, not just among the high-end restaurants, but even for locals.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So a lot of people eat lionfish. So when it was fashionable and all that, it was cool to fashionable to eat it. Now it has the same mystery as barracuda. Wow. So it's still around. I mean, people still harvest lionfish. There's still fishermen who go out and get lionfish, but a lot of the areas that they target now, they've actually broadened their range because if you, like, I'll just use New Providence, for example, there were two fishers who that's all they did, go out and caught lionfish and specifically to supply the high-end restaurants. Okay. But now they've basically got that species so much under control now that they're not finding it in the quantities that would make it profitable. So now they're now purchasing it from other jurisdictions, other islands.
Oh, that's a good
Really?
thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
there's
that's
still a lot around Grand
encouraging.
Bahama. There's a lot around Abaco and those areas. And what we find is, and I need to say this, there are some people that, and specifically for lionfish, yes, it's a pretty fish.
Mm-hmm.
When you see it in the water, it's pretty, it looks majestic and all that stuff. And not to want to harvest them because they're saying, oh, why are you killing this, or why are you dispatching this pretty fish and all this stuff, right? So we find that in areas where you have
People really say that?
Yes, yeah. You find in areas where you have a lot of tourists, second homeowners, they would tend to feed the fish like lionfish. So I've been to a place the other day, and at a private island, and there was some lionfish around their dock, and I was talking to the guy, the dock manager, and he was telling me, he said, no, boy, we can't do anything with that. So those people say, man, they'll fire you if they catch you even doing anything with that. And these were huge lionfish. So I eventually talked to them, and I see, you realize that's an invasive species, right? You know this stuff. He said, yes, but they're so pretty and all that. Oh, my God. And that wasn't the first time I encountered that. I encountered that before. So, yeah, that's
they should try and pet it.
Yeah.
Wow. Caller, we'll get to you in just a second. But I want to ask about grouper. Now, there was a time, right, and good Lord. But you have grouper these days, it feels.
Yeah.
How are we looking there, Nassau grouper? Is this really as rare as it seems to be? Because everything we get, they're telling us is grouper, but it certainly isn't.
Yeah, again, this one of those mystery fish. Grouper, because the closed season on the harvesting of Nassau grouper has worked, and I must say, even though we opposed it initially, over years we found that it has worked. And they're saying more Nassau grouper now, but we tend to, and this is where some people, and me, we buck heads, but some organizations and me, we buck heads, because people think that there is a closed season on grouper. In the Bahamas, we have about 5 different types of groupers that we normally get. The closed season applies only to the Nassau grouper.
Right.
Okay? But you would have people who would tell, who would say, who would push that there's a closed season on grouper. So when a restaurant wants to, have a big clientele and there's a closed season, they have grouper on their menus. It's cheaper to buy a substitute fish than it is to change your menus, right? Because it's just that. So what they do is they substitute grouper for some other fish. I don't want to call any names, but you substitute it. I mean, there was even a point where our hotels basically had to import grouper. Okay, I'm telling you, they had to import grouper from Mexico because there was this myth that there was a closed season on grouper, when the closed season applies only to the Nassau grouper.
Right.
Okay, you have 3 to 4 more different types of groupers that you can get in abundance, just like and they just they're groupers. So and that's why we had that issue. Now,
but do people know? Do people know the difference? Can people taste the difference?
Well, a fisherman would know the difference because they look different,
right?
And that's that you find that we have a gentleman who supplies the hotel during the closed season, and he would have to take it to them with the skin on, okay, so that they can determine whether it's not,
Wow.
And so that's there. But of course, the average customer may not know, and of course, and two, I'm not making any excuses for any restaurant that cheats by serving you something else and calling it Nassau grouper, because I've seen it. I've seen tilapia. I've seen some other red fish that they try to pass off as grouper. I've seen it. Okay, so those restaurants are basically cheating, and they should be reported to the Consumer Commission. But again, that's a whole different conversation.
They don't change the price either.
No, they don't change the price.
Oh my goodness. Caller, are you still there? Good morning. You're on Morning Man Business.
Morning. Hey, good morning, Chester. Good morning, my former Billy Pacer. Right, for a long time now, I have been questioning the price of the luxury items, mainly the lobster and grouper that is caught in our waters, which are always the price that the average Bahamian cannot afford, for something that's caught in abundance in our waters. But also, Dwight, I welcome the reduction in price. Now, when a lobster is put on a restaurant, it is priced at we call market price. And so if the price of the lobster, which has been tremendously reduced now. It does not come down on the restaurant menu, which means that we don't really have a respected price control commission. Because, based on the reduction of price, the restaurant menu should reflect that. So obviously, that's something that needs looked into. Once again, I welcome the reduction in the price. Hopefully, not the average man can afford the lobster. Thank you all very much.
Okay.
But the average man was always and is always able to afford lobster.
You sure?
There are a lot of day fishermen who go out and they fish, and sometimes I'm surprised too as to what they sell their fresh product at. But the fellow, he just wants to be able to make a couple of dollars. So the average man, he does get it. And when you look at the size of some of the lobsters, I see the day fishermen selling. I mean, like if you really were to purchase that same restaurant same lobster in a hotel, it costs you probably $150, but the fellow's selling it to you for $10 and $20. I mean, so we can do it. And I have nothing against day fishermen who go out because they're going out to make a living. As they can make a living honestly from the fishing sector. I think the more we have, the better it would be. And it is always good to be able to get these products to the consumers, get them in the hands of consumers. We get a lot of complaints about places like the Monarchy Ramp and all that stuff, but I will always support them, and we have our members out there, and I will always support them because they bring a product to the consumer. Not everybody can afford to go and pay the add-on, in a restaurant or a fish wholesale fish market.
Right.
Okay, but these guys are bringing a product straight to the consumer, and we need more markets like that. Yeah. We need to revitalize the Blue Hills fish market. I mean, there's some vendors out there who are doing a good job. We need a couple more fish markets on this island to be able to get the product to the consumer. Because people, it's mythical that when I hear stories about people talking about how much they have to pay for something as simple as a snapper.
Yep.
Well, again, supply and demand. As long as people are demanding the product, I think we should be able to reasonably get it on the plates of Bahamians.
Yeah. We're talking with Adrian LaRota with the Bahamas Commercial Fishers Alliance. You mentioned it a few minutes ago. Poaching you have it under control. This is quite a change in tone from just a few years ago when people were prepared to go to war.
Yeah.
What's happened? How is it? Why has it changed?
Yeah. Firstly, let me thank the Defense Force. I mean, they've done a remarkable job in enforcement with the new equipment that they got. We had to support them in that and fight the government to be able to still make that investment. So that was done. They're doing a good job. They're properly deploying their vessels now in patrolling the waters of the Bahamas. I mean, and with the support of other agencies, through whatever agreements that they have, because now we have the U.S. Coast Guard who not just joyriding around the Bahamas now. I shouldn't say that, but they're now actively involved in reporting, any illegal activity. And the focus now is not only on drugs, but now also on fisheries infractions.
Wow.
Okay, so we'll be glad to see that. But the elephant in the room, and it's something that we've always been complaining about, is our neighbors from the north who continue to think that these islands are part of the chain of the Florida Keys, and who come over, all the time and just think that they have they can do whatever they want. The incident that we saw in Abaco the other day, that's been happening for years and years and years, with the tourists, raiding the traps of the local Bahamian fishermen, right?
Is that what happened there?
Yeah, that's what happened. But that's been happening for years. But this time someone was able to get it on video and document what was happening. There's a Florida registered boat actually harvesting product from the traps of Bahamian fishermen.
Oh.
That's been happening for years. We have the same thing in Grand Bahama, and unfortunately, these guys are able to say, well, we got lost, So I'm going to be happy when we are able to sort out our boundary exclusive economic zones, particularly in the north, instead of the imaginary 12-mile line. We need to, stretch it out to the 200 miles that is actually it's supposed to be. Okay, so we have people coming over from Florida after a couple of hours, coming over from Florida, fishing in the Bahamas, and then if they happen to be in our exclusive economic zone, they could claim that we were lost. So we didn't know we thought it was only 12 miles, but in actual fact it's supposed to be 200 miles. But that's a conversation for another time.
Boy, wow! All right,
so, but poaching is under control. I mean, thanks to the Defense Force. I mean, it has been drastically reduced. We're still having issues in trying to deal with the unregulated fisheries now, that fisheries that happen during the summertime, because as you know, we have a big tourist, we're in the tourism business.
Mm-hmm.
So, we know that there's still a lot of illegal fishing going on, domestic illegal fishing going on, in terms of people harvesting undersized conch, people harvesting lobster out of season to be able to supply this, because that market is basically driven by tourists. And two, we have tourists themselves who are engaged in that kind of illegal fishing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So that's something that, that part of it, it's going to take longer to resolve, but the big part of it is we've actually slayed the big dragon.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, that's good news. Yeah. Let's take this call before we have to take a break. Good morning, caller, you're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Strachan, Chester, and to your guest.
Hi.
Good morning. This guy is putting out a lot of information that Bahamians are not really familiar with, and so he touched on something that really disturbed me, the situation in Abaco and the tourists or the Americans coming over and fishing and doing what they see fit. And so, of course, the narrative of him being lost is BS. And so I was wondering if there is any innovative technology that can enhance the enforcement of this BS that's going on, because I'm looking at the people who also come over and they pay their fishing permits. So do they have fishing guides or policemen from the Ministry of Agriculture on these vessels with them, or they just allow these people? Because I feel some of them own restaurants, and they actually, a financial benefit when they go back there. But this has been going on for a while, and so I'm wondering how long will they think with this last, and why isn't it that, I see in Florida where they actually they breed sea eggs and some other shellfish, and then they put them back into the environment. They was doing it with snappers. Why haven't anybody is not liaising with the University of the Bahamas to breed fish? There could be crawfish and the likes, and put them back into the waters, and then watch how they grow in a certain controlled area. Because I feel as if the people who get work permit, the fishing permits, nobody's enforcing what they're taking. They don't have a need to adhere to the fishing parameters, the laws, as you can see, even as far as dumping and whatever. And so there should be a way for us to really know that this crawfish came from the Bahamas, because they're having a field day, man. Bless up.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. He said a few things okay. Just to let you know, into the Bahamas are now required to have VMS, which is a vessel monitoring system. Okay, and it is supposed to be activated. There's been a program here to introduce the same to our fishing fleet. I'll leave that conversation for another time. But yeah, all foreign vessels coming into the Bahamas are required to have their vessel monitoring systems activated. And unfortunately, we don't, as a country, we really don't have the resources to be able to patrol every square mile of our seas 24 hours a day. Mm-hmm. There are assets assigned to the northern Bahamas, but again, you're talking about a vast area. And now, what really is supposed to happen is vessels that are going back into, say, I'm going to just use Florida, but coming from the Bahamas, traveling back into Florida, they're actually supposed to report that they're returning, and they should be inspected by U.S. Fish and Wildlife on their return. Mm. Okay. Now, obviously that doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. I understand what he's saying about people, who basically have restaurants in Florida who come to fish. Yes, that happens. We know what happens. We provided evidence to it, and some of these people are so bold that they post their pictures on Facebook. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we know that, but again, that's a work in progress, and we've passed the baby steps. We now made some giant steps in terms of enforcement, and I can only see that getting better. Mm-hmm. Getting better because, again, it's a boundary issue. It's a maritime boundary issue. We're 60 miles away. Grand Bahama is basically 60 miles away from the U.S. Okay, obviously you can't have a 200-mile exclusive economic zone between Grand Bahama and the U.S. So I think it's at 12 miles, and then you have the Gulf Stream, and then the U.S. border is 12 miles. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's an issue then there. There's no man's land. So, but once you on the northern side of Grand Bahama and the Abacos, that The question is whether it's still 12 miles or 200 miles. Okay, so and if you know that if you're 12 miles within any key of Abaco, you're basically in the Bahamas.
Right.
Right. So that's those things are being worked out. I mean, we've had meetings with the Maritime Boundary Committee that's headed by former Commodore Roll. So hopefully those things will get solved.
Yeah. Wow. All right, let's take a break, and then we'll have a few more minutes with Adrian LaRota with the Bahamas Commercial Fishers Alliance. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Woke up early one morning to the rising sun. It's bonefish season and they on the run. I gotta find bonefish foley to catch me some. See, when it comes to bone fishing, he's number one. He's bonefish foley. He's so meek and lowly. Bonefish foley. He's the one.
Shopping is so rewarding with my Fidelity credit card. I get the best prices with price protection. Earn and redeem freedom points at my favorite stores. Get cash back. Plus, I booked a cruise. Get your Fidelity credit card today. Call 356-7764.
Indulge in an experience that awakens your senses with Nescafe Gold. Premium Arabica coffee beans, carefully selected, roasted to perfection, and finely ground, resulting in a unique and unmatched flavor and aroma that captivates the senses. Enticing aroma, smooth taste. Elevate your coffee experience with Nescafe Gold.
As we continue to celebrate 50 years of independence, there is no better way to reflect on where we came from than to reconnect with the Family Islands. Visit BahamasResidence.com and take advantage of the 2 fly free from Nassau. Make your next trip to the Family Islands more affordable. If you're planning family beach days in Eleuthera, taking the plunge in Andrus's many blue holes, spoon fishing with the guys in Acklands, or simply rejuvenating with Cat Island's bush medicine. With the 2 fly free from Nassau promotion, there's no better time than now to visit the Family Islands. So explore the Exuma Keys, plan a retreat to Abaco, take the kids to historical San Salvador, escape to Long Island for a quick girls trip, lay low in Bimini, or enjoy a romantic trip to Burr Island. There's an island waiting just for you. Fly free from Nassau to your choice of 10 islands and 35 participating hotels. Book your trip today. Visit BahamasResidence.com for details and begin your Family Islands getaway.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
It is a Morning Business Report brought to you by CFAL. Minister of Works and Utilities Alfred Sear is revealing that a forensic investigation into the construction of Station A at BPL's Clifton Pier Power Station is underway and will be released to the public when it's completed. He says there's been a forensic investigation, and in due course, the investigation will be released. He's just speaking to the media on the matter on the sidelines of the signing of a new industrial agreement with the Water and Sewage Corporation, or the Management Union, yesterday. Well, after more than a decade, the Water and Sewage Corporation's Middle Management Union has a new industrial agreement that will cost the corporation more than $2 million in raises, performance bonuses, and other emoluments. That's according to the corporation's GM, Robert Deal. Deal was part of the press conference yesterday. Minister of Works Alfred Sear said that the last agreement was signed in August of 2011. He hailed the work done by all the stakeholders to get the industrial agreement signed and completed. Overseas plant-based meat substitute maker said its revenue plunged 30.5% in the second quarter as consumer demand for its burgers, sausages, and other products fell despite price cuts. The California-based company lowered its full-year revenue forecast as a result. Beyond Meat now expects revenue between $360 and $380 million for the year. That's down from the $375 to $415 million it forecast at the end of the first quarter. Beyond Meat's shares fell 10% in after-hours trading Monday. In a conference call with investors, Beyond Meat President and CEO Ethan Brown said the company faced tough comparisons to the second quarter of 2022 when a new beef jerky product generated sales and restaurants were reopening and placing big orders. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Tuesday, your market movers. AML Foods Limited moving 1,000 shares, closing at $5, unchanged. Bahamas First moving 5,000, down 10 cents to $2.30. Commonwealth Bank moving 31,350, up 9 cents. Consolidated Water up 1 cent to $3.85, and Emera Incorporated up 5 cents to $9.33. The BISX All-Share Index closing at 2,649.83, up 9.69. That's your Market Watch. And that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Fishing on the rock. Fishing on the rock. Fishing on the rock. Well, I get my conch swap and I go to my favorite drop. I'm fishing on the rock, I'm fishing on the dock. I wind up myself and I throw out my line. I'm fishing all the time. I say the turbot is just rusty in the front.
We are back with Morning Bell Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, along with Chester Robards. We're talking about fishing with the president or chair, of the Commercial Alliance, Fishers Alliance, Bahamas Commercial Fishers Alliance, Adrian LaRota. All right, so a few years ago, it was a big topic when the previous administration pushed to reserve the industry for Bahamians. We know there was a lot of back and forth on this, on the impact this would have. These years later now, where are we? How do things look now? Did it have the impact that some were fearing, or did it work out the way that the government at the time was hoping, that we now have Bahamians in this industry?
Yeah, that was always an issue with us, because the law is the law, and the law was always the law, that the fisheries industry is reserved for Bahamians. Mm-hmm. And before the new, I can tell you what the law said. The law said that no foreigners should have been working on any Bahamian registered fishing vessel in any capacity.
Wow.
I don't know why or how the policy came into, and it's a policy decision because it could not have been law. I don't know how the policy came in to allow foreigners to be able to get into the sector, because they would not have been given permits as fishermen. Mm-hmm. But we understand that they were given permits as general workers or engineers or whatever. Now, with the continued tightening, with the tightening of that loophole, basically, it has a positive effect. It has a positive effect because now what it did was cause more Bahamians who were working as assistants, cause them to be able to go back to work, mm-hmm. And as full-time, well, basically not assistants anymore, because some of them, when I say assistants, a lot of them were what we call operating as a keep-up man. That's the driving the boat, mm-hmm. basically, or the dinghies, mm-hmm. For the diver or whatever. Mm-hmm. Some of them have now been able to go back to diving and owning their own boats and basically, hiring someone to work for them. It has had a positive effect, and it tightening the law was the right thing to do. It was the right thing to do. Okay.
Yeah. Well, okay. And no pushback. There were a lot of people who were.
Yeah, there was some pushback from you had people who spouses of particularly spouses of a number of foreign fishermen or foreign operators. I wouldn't call them fishermen because they were not licensed as fishermen. Their spouses were making a fuss and all that, and. Mm-hmm.
Some of the wholesale companies were threatening, they were saying they might have to go out of business as well.
Yeah, some of them too. But again, there's always enough labor here to be able to cause the workforce to function, right? Now, and on the foreign spouse thing, I was threatened, called a lot of names and all that sort of stuff. But I said to them, and I'm going to say it again publicly, it's a simple thing. If you're married to a foreigner and the foreign person is working and living in this country, why haven't they applied for citizenship? If you say this is their home, you have children, all that sort of stuff. I mean, and to me, it may be naive, but to me, it makes no sense you're married to someone for 30 years and you don't want to give them Bahamian citizenship. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand it. So anyway, be over that hurdle now. I mean, I'm not getting cussed out anymore. Well, not as much anyway. So I guess we're over that. In terms of the labor for some of the fish houses, they too are able to overcome that because now you have more Bahamians going to work. Because it is a business that you can make a business. And you have more Bahamians going to work who are able to supply the product to the fish houses and everything else. And it taught Bahamians that you must now be able to do a fair day's work for a fair day's pay. Okay, you can't just take the easy way out and say you want to be a keep-up man for the diver that's going to be diving for basically 6 to 7 hours a day, and you just taking what he give you. You now have to understand your worth because you're now going to have to go to work, and rather than just sitting on the boat and doing whatever, you now become an owner, operator. And you can understand that the same money that somebody else makes money, honestly.
So there are, would you say, a lot of opportunities for young people, for people to get into this? You're looking for more people?
Yes. Yes. I would say the National Training Agency had a program where they were training young people to be how to be divers and that sort of thing, right? And there was a very good program. I'm hoping that the program continues because we want to specifically target, I would say, I don't like to use this term anymore, at-risk youth, but it is what it is. Listen, not everybody's going to be a doctor. Not everybody's going to be a journalist like you, Dwight, and Chester, not everybody's going to do that. There are some people who are good with their hands. So let them, if they find that this is something that they can do, we should train them to go out and be fishermen because fisheries is the third pillar of our economy. And COVID taught us through the no tourists coming in that people have to go to fish to be able to feed ourselves. And on this token, I want to say that I also sit as chairman of the Caribbean network of fisherfolk organizations that comprises 17 countries in CARICOM.
Wow.
And CARICOM now through the CRFM has a push now for Caribbean countries, Caribbean states, to reduce their food import bill by 25% by the year 2025. So in pushing the 25 by 25 goal, how else can you do it other than to get people to produce locally?
We agree to this? The Bahamas?
Well, it's a CARICOM issue. Yes, that's and you would find too that's on the agricultural side. That's why the minister is the egg production. That he is excited about. The backyard farming. They're doing that now because it's a push. It's a commitment. I mean, to reduce our food import bill.
How are we looking? Where are we at now?
We don't have numbers yet. As a matter of fact, there is an update meeting on how this is coming for the. I think it's the ministerial council. So we would hear what happens after the ministerial council meeting. Because we're not at that level yet. But the food imports to the region is over $700 billion a year.
My goodness.
Of that, fisheries accounts for about 30%.
Wow.
Okay. So can you imagine in the Caribbean we are importing close to $300 billion in fisheries product. I mean that's just crazy.
That's insane.
So we've been talking about this a lot over the past few weeks. AI is coming for all of our jobs, right? But is fisheries immune to this? AIs won't be able to replace you guys, right?
I don't know. I don't know. I hope not. But there's a lot of technology that's being used now, in this sector. I mean, fish finders, if you look at the way the Chinese and the Japanese fleet, the way they fish, it's no guesswork anymore. As a matter of fact, they basically call the fish to the boat. Speaking now from this point, so maybe in in 2045, when we're having this conversation again, we can say that it helped with, with reducing bycatch and all that, and it's an efficient way to fish. But at the moment, no, I don't. Even while we use a lot of technology now, I'm expecting that you still need bodies to be able to fish, to be able to adequately fish. I mean, yeah.
All right. So, other than the crawfish price at the moment, I mean, you've painted a relatively rosy picture for the fisheries sector in the country. I mean, or is there something that you're concerned about? Is there something on the horizon that causes you, to pause, or are things just wonderful?
Every time I'm interviewed, I keep telling people, listen, I'm an eternal optimist. I'm always, I never see the glass as half empty, right? I always try to see it as half full. We're resilient, and we have to take it as it comes. I mean, we can have a storm that come through tomorrow, and basically put our industry. Fortunately for us, with us being an archipelago, the chances of our entire fleet being wiped out is probably most likely not going to happen. So we're safe with that. But barring any disease or anything else, I mean, we have an issue here now called the stony coral tissue loss disease that I sit on that committee, and we have some conversation around it. It hasn't affected basically our marine environment to the point where it's detrimental yet. Barring any seaborne illness or whatever, we should be okay. And we can only hope that I know you guys are tired of hearing this, but we say we are a blessed nation, but we still have to protect what we have. We still have to protect what we have, and as fishermen, being the foremost people out there, the stewards of the environment, we have to protect what we have, and continue to understand that we have children and things have to be here. I'll make it simple. We have no right to leave this place in a position that we did not meet it in.
Yeah, absolutely. Got to make it even better, eh?
Yeah.
Adrian Loretta, always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
And thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, and have a good day to you all.
Yeah.
You too. Great.
Definitely encouraging. Wow. All right. Chester Robards, thank you so much.
Always a pleasure.
Have a great day, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend business and Morning Blend right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight, Strachan, enjoy. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.
The cockeyed take your pick all the time. I put on cow skin and I catch rock line. Big eye fish, we just call the big eye John. He's so greedy, he just buy that cup. I got a big fish on my line. I gotta play him real slow this time. I give him some slack, I pull him right back. Give him some slack, I pull him right back. Look at them boys, sculling in the boat. They're sculling in the boat.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.